It's Sunday night. It's shine time. This show was supposed to happen in October, but it's happening now, midway through December. This show, the fourth Jet win, was supposed to happen after Denver? London? London. Supposed to be 4-1 going into the Buffalo game, but here we are. The Jets beat the Jaguars. Whoop-de-frickin-do. The Jets in a shootout, playing even with the Mac Jones Jaguars. Woo! Let's get excited that we won this game. Let's call shows and talk trash because we won this game in the final seconds. Stop it. You look silly if you're doing that. A 3-10 team beat a 3-10 team by one score in the final seconds of a game. This is two trash football teams, two poorly coached football teams. And if you're doing a victory lap over today, go tear your Achilles. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday night. Notice I said Achilles and not calf. Respect the Nate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday night. It's shine time. Let's get the party started.
Welcome, my friends. It's a shine time. Shine time. It's time to talk about the Jets. Don't you know it's shine time? Shine time. It's shine time. Time to be with my friends. Hey, have you seen my toe?
Have you? I haven't. Much like I hope we don't see racist in the chat tonight. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm your host, Nick.
When the blitz comes, there's no one to block him.
It's 10 o'clock, get ready for the showdown. 9 toes down, Nick, ready for the throwdown. We proud Jets fans, we don't play with them pronouns. Best roster in the league, we playing with the pros now. They tell us slow down, call us delusional, call us losers as usual. But this season will be beautiful. Shotgun with you know who, but run it instead. Lad Hall hit the hole hard.
That's what she said.
Ground and pound like it's 2010. The chat, we got many friends. Johnny wearing hats for super chat and watch him breathe again. Nick put the link so Bobby can call and speak again. Bonesy get the blunt, I got the weed and pens. We speaking green again. Jets news like it's CNN. A-Rod and Charles Gorman, it's like we seeing twins. Feeding tins, pounding on these bleeding fins. Week 14 and 18 when they needing wins. They ain't seeing them. We run the ball and play defense. This is AFC hell where the teams repent. Ladies and gents, welcome to MetLife. This is Jet Life. We bleed green, this our best life. We just nice.
Let's say what's up to everyone. Dark Soldier's here. Johnny's in the house. And of course, it's Sunday. It's shine time. It's time to rise, remove your hats, face the flag, place your hand over your heart, and sing with the one, the only, Robert C. Ready?
Oh, say, can
Everybody mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Light of dawn's early light. What so proud that we hail. We're so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare. The bombs bursting in air. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and of the free and the home of the brave.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Well, if you play one version, you have to play the Canadian version.
I'll stay and make it by the light and so bright as the twilight's last evening.
Why is it the Canadian version? Because the Canadians don't know the words either. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. 4-10. 4-10. All right. Jets are 4-10. let's say hello to all of you awesome shiners or to-be shiners soon who are here. David D is here. Stack, hope Sophia had a great birthday. She did. She's a cool kid, man. Thank you for saying that. You're the best. Oscar, I am your host, Nick. You are Oscar, a shiner. Robert C, I wonder why Nick is saying this since the Jets won. I do realize the Jets defense was bad. Oh, I entitled the show earlier this morning, How Bad Does It Get? Because it was before the game. I changed it now to Even with a Win, the Jets are still awful. That's the title of the show. Allen's here. Penn State just lost their backup quarterback to the portal. All right. Rusty Spooner. That Rusty Spooner. I'm trolling the fuck out of the Miami Fish podcast right now. Oh, they're way butthurt and sensitive about their O-line. Tua, McDaniels, and Flores told them Flores is their next head coach and McDaniels are OC. That would be great. That's good stuff. That's good trolling right there. Very well done, Rusty. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hank G. Hello, good sir. Knobcraft coming in with the kindest thing he's ever said on this channel. Thank you, Knob. I appreciate the love. You are a fantastic human being and the first ever shiner. Rick Ken is here. He wants to watch baseball. He wants double plays. He wants Domino's pizza. Who knows what Rick wants? He's a little freaky in his old age. God bless him. He's a frisky fuck. Speaking of frisky fucks, Tom Ace is in the chat. Hello, Tom. Addison is there already. Weird stuff goes on in Cali. Weird stuff. Greetings from the DP. I hope we don't. But have them ready. Johnny is here. Hello, Johnny. Jay Graves. Sweetheart. Jay Quest in the house. Mr. I didn't go shopping for a tree today. Congratulations. His wife dropped that hint early this morning, and he's like, no. Jets are on. I'm happy for him. Got to enjoy a great victory, a dominant victory, a mistake-free victory, a quarterback who didn't miss any passes victory, a great rushing performance victory, a great coaching performance by scoring with a minute left. Yeah, let's throw a goddamn parade over this game, folks. Three siblings. Jay is here. Jay, fresh off his ass whooping from Bobby Midnight in poker last night. Not going to lie. He's not the only one. Bobby whooped everybody's butt last night. There was a beatdown, and Bobby was responsible for it. Allen, poor Lions. Lost 3 more defensive players for the season. I heard they need a defensive tackle. Nick? No, Allen. Nick is down 30 pounds in 45 days, and I'm down to 277. I was 307 on October 9th. I will not play defensive tackle or any position. I can't move for shit anymore. I can throw. That's it. I need a clean pocket, and I can get some points on the board. But giving up 48 points, Aaron Glenn, next head coach. He's perfect. Let's go get him. He'd be the best Jet ever. Gives up 48 points to the Bills. He's already acting like a Jet head coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Boomtown is here. Metro is here. Ban Rob the racist. Clancy's here, sharing the great Nick pushing Bobby. I did try to get up to full speed. I did. That's a great picture of me and Bob. Todd's here. I'm happy for the players. Winning is always better for the players. I get that. You want to end on a good note if you're a player. I will say this, Todd, and to the rest of you. I am not infatuated with anybody in this chat. I mean, draft. You're welcome. I don't care where we pick. I don't care. There's no tanking for anybody. There's no hoping we lose. to get a better player, I don't see a difference between the top 5 and 11 through 15. I don't like the quarterbacks. I don't like what comes along with Sanders with the family bullshit. Cam Ward, okay. I'd take Cam, but I'm not trading up to go after Cam. And now that you got 4 wins, you're probably not getting high enough to draft him. So it is what it is. There's no losing your mind if you miss out on a guy in this draft. So Rob V, let's get it. All right, Rick Kent does a lot for this channel. So when Rick Kent makes a demand, we do it.
Welcome, my friends. It's a shine time. Shine time. It's time to talk about the Jets. Don't you know it's shine time? Shine time. It's shine time. Time to be with my friends. Hey, have you seen my toe?
Anything for Rick Kent. Anything. You mess with Rick Kent, you mess with all of us. Hashtag family. Board Fat is here. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining. ISU is in the house. What's up, pal? I'm looking. Boomtown quickly shuts off Fortnite. Quickly. Jake Asman in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Asman here. Thank you, Infrared. I appreciate you. Wishing my daughter a happy birthday. According to her birthday lasts the whole month because Christmas is next week and she gets presents then too. So I'm not going to argue with a 14-year-old girl because it's going to be very, very bad how it ends for me. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, we the people. Welcome, sir. Dave Briga is here. Dave, I appreciate you commenting and typing, but how do you not use the Dave Briga emoji? Ladies and gentlemen, share the Dave Briga emoji. Show Dave some love. Trying to make sure I said hello to everyone who's commented. I'm trying to catch up in the chat. If you are here and you haven't commented yet, welcome. Hello, Carly. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. More Metro Funny Rotten Tomatoes. Gator is here. I like simple pleasures like butter in my eye and lollipops in my mouth. It's a great quote from the movie Boogie Nights and also a lifestyle that Gator lives by and swears by. It's true. He sends me pictures. Everyone seems to send me pictures. It's never the people that you want to send pictures. It's Tom Ace and Gator. Repetitively. All day, all night. Pictures that I don't want. Mike Rubino's here. Mike, welcome. A shiner. Congratulations. And Jay Graves loves being Wiener Lady. Make sure you guys show the Wiener Lady emoji. So let's get into it. Let's discuss the game. They look like a 3-10 team playing against another 3-10 team with their backup quarterback. And of course, the New York Jets, true to form, made the backup quarterback look better than he's ever looked. Mac Jones, 31 out of 46, 2 touchdowns, 300 yards. Brian Thomas Jr., it's pretty good. 10 catches, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty good. Jacksonville wins the time of possession, 34 minutes to 25. They outgained us in yards. They outgained us in passing yards. They outgained us in rushing yards. They outgained us in first downs. Equal in penalties at 8. We only got 1 sack. They got 2. They had 77 plays. We had 54. Let's look at Rodgers because there's people losing their minds. 16 out of 30. 3 completions in the first half. Misses Devontae Adams in the first half. Wide open. Going deep. All right, Jay. I did. There's nothing there. Check my DM. I did. Discord? You didn't send anything, pal. I'm on point, man. My games, as the kids say, I'm on fleek. Why are you messing me up? You don't even send nothing. 3 completions in the first half. 3. We're going to act like the quarterback was good. We're going to act like the quarterback deserves to be here because of today. Struggling against a defense that everybody can move the ball on. Doesn't make sense. It took to week 14 to hit a pass over 50 yards. It took to week 14 to have a long touchdown score. Big fucking deal. Other teams do that every week. We're going to act like this is special. We're going to act like this is something that deserves to be prolonged. Oh, I know. I know what the Rodgers people will say. He's just learning the system. He needed time to develop. Stop it. Stop it. He's missed on so many deep passes. This is the first one that he hit. It's stupid. It's stupid. Trying to attempt to do a victory lap over beating that team is pathetic. The attempt at trying to run around waving your Rodgers jersey saying, "We got it now, guys." Stop it. Yes. That's an honest approach, Jake. It was nice to see it. Brought back a little nostalgia. It's a nice little moment. It doesn't change what should happen going forward. It doesn't change the fact he's declined. It doesn't change the fact how many passes he's missed. Doesn't change the fact he's missed open receivers time and time and time again. It doesn't change any of that. One long touchdown pass does not change what the New York Jets and the future coach and the future management should do. Shake his hand, wish him well, move on. It was nice. It was a cool little fun thing. Like, all right, man. Like, you get to see Jordan dunk. You get to see Lawrence Taylor get a sack. You get to watch Gretzky score a goal. You get to see Mike Tyson not throw a punch at some punk-ass internet guy for 10 rounds. It was cool. It was a moment in time. Time's up. Time's up. It's over. Pew, 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 pew. We'll go with this color, a little brighter. There we go. We'll try that. Doesn't make sense to victory lap this, guys and gals. It doesn't. Defense still can't get near a quarterback. We do get near the quarterback, holding in the end zone on Sauce. They chase down. Will McDonald gets a sack taken away from him. Ooh, Jake. He's played well 2 weeks in a row, to be fair. If he looks good these final 3. I don't think he played well today. I think he just outlasted a shittier team. He missed throws, man. We should have had 40 points. We should have been 48 like the Bills. He missed throws. I would be very intrigued. All right, let me not get too far ahead of myself. Let's start with number 1. Will the Johnsons mandate that a new staff has to keep him? That information will come out. Will a staff that says we don't want to keep him even get a shot? He did have drops. Jake, you're right. He did have drops. I love Addison, so I'm not going to flame Addison right now. But if you don't think that I was outside watching on NFL Mobile the entire time that she was shopping, you're out of your mind. Nah, but we just overreacting because all the preseason hype and a new coach could turn it around fast because the talent is still there. I think there's a large portion of this fan base now that wants to win so bad and wants to believe we can win so bad that they want to have hope. Hope springs eternal. And they want to believe they can win. A lot of people want to die on the hill with their take. They want Rodgers to be good at 42 years old so they could say I was right. That's all it comes down to. They want to be able to call into a show and say, I was right. I told you. Gives a fuck if you're right. We need the Jets to be right. Fuck my opinion. Fuck anyone else's who does a show. None of it means anything. We need the people employed by the Jets to be right. I will say, thank you for watching the show. Thank you for listening to my opinions. Thank you for supporting Jets content creators. You guys are awesome. If Hawk is watching, Hawk, I believe Hawk was going to be the one to get Tigo a membership. Keep Tigo Gray. Hashtag keep Tigo Gray. Nate, I'm not going to flame you, Nate, and I'll tell you why. I feel bad that you hurt your leg. I do. You have a 1 week reprieve. 1 week. Or till you get your test back. When you get your test back, if you're okay and it's just a strain, then we go in. If we had a top 10 defense this year, playoffs would be on the table. Rodgers is not the problem. Okay. How do you want to get a top 10 defense? How do you want to get that back? You need money, right? You need money to get players. We lost players because we didn't have the money. It's a seesaw. When you're going to pay a quarterback that type of money the next 2 years, if you keep him next year, he's on the books again in 2026. Do you really want to have that? Does a new regime want to have that? Mr. Bonesy's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I'm supporting a quarterback that has done something only done once in the last 5 years. 23 TD. Bonesy, being good for a bad organization doesn't make you good enough to be a contender. Like being semi-decent and doing what many quarterbacks in the league do week after week doesn't make you the answer. It just makes you better than the rest of the shit that we've had. I love you, buddy, and I love Rodgers. I've loved him for many years. But now I'm looking at financial now. Now it's about money. Now it's about a new general manager and a new head coach putting their imprint on the team. Why would they take something that was part of a fail to try to make it part of their success? That's a question that needs to be answered during the interview process. I just want to say I agree with the big fella. Don't even know what I got called out on by Neil earlier. But if I'm being mentioned in the same sentence as the big fella, it's a goddamn win for me. So, big fella, much respect. Let's do this. Give me a moment. Old man interneting. Slow computer. Not interneting. Let's see if this works. That's what she said. Do we get someone? Wow, this is wild. Oh, John LG back in the fold. John, welcome. Welcome. I just want to say that we have memberships until we don't. Who knows what YouTube is doing? They're playing some games with my account, channel, whatever we want to call it. The link is pinned. You want to call in, you want to debate, you want to be a part of Shine Time, feel free. Lot going on in the chat. You guys are feisty. Mr. Hank G coming in from the north, gifting a membership that went to Wild Wave. Thank you, Hank. You're the man. Appreciate you as always, sir. I rushed in today, so I didn't have time. I still have my to-go cup for coffee. I did not have time to grab the Canada coffee mug that you so graciously purchased for me. Jenergy's here. Awesome. Welcome, Jen. Can you only show up after wins, Jen? Well, what's your deal, girl? What's up with you, baby? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Now, this is going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Kent just said, I'm dropping 5. One more membership than the Jets have wins. Let's just point that out, how great Rick is. He gifted them 2. This is fantastic. The legend, Bobby Midnight. Jets Worldwide. Frank Cersei. DNY for Life. And Deborah 64. Rick Kent, you remain being the man. You can't be topped. You can't be stopped. Jake Asman, ladies and gentlemen, with a super chat saying thoughts and prayers to Allen's Lions today. Hashtag fraud. Hey, Allen, can you do us a favor? Can you start really pumping up the Buffalo Bills so then they lay a massive egg too? That would be great. Thanks, Kay. Bye. Now, you know she's feisty. You know she's going to be fired up. What direction does she go in? I don't know. I'm ready for it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Wiener Lady herself. Show her some love by putting wieners all over the chat. Jay Graves. What's up, Jay?
Hey, everybody. Oh, one introduction. Thank you, Nick.
I aim to please. Real quick,
Yeah.
Alan with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Alan. There was some more on another show compared A-Rod's 23 touchdowns to Josh Allen's 25. Could you please make this stupidity stop? I think Josh Allen has 35. Is that total touchdowns? I don't know. Alan, we need you to become the Buffalo fan so they can have a jet crash landing. Please help us out, Alan. I appreciate the super chat and the support. How you feeling? What's your thoughts? Where are you at? And don't say home.
Well, I'll go to the game first before I address the victory lap, people. So the game, I was watching it, and I popped in and out of DP, and they can attest to that. Sorry, I'm reading the chat and all the.
Well, it's better than the DP popping in and out. All right, never mind. I digress.
That's what she said. Anyway, and so the DP can attest. I said after Mills got that first interception, I'm like, I literally sat on my couch and was like, we're gonna lose anyway. And then I popped in and out. I was surprised we won. I was happy. I mean, I'm a pessimist. I expect the worst, but I hope for the best. Like I'm not the tankathon. I want us to win. I want to see us play good. Like I loved watching Devontae. 100. I wish he got 200 yards. That would have been so fun. Just hit that 200 mark. But yeah, so my takeaway was Hassan Reddick is no effort. Somebody said in Jake's show there was no effort, and that's an understatement. the Jets call it the motor. He had no motor. Like when we had like JJ and Will McDonald, they don't stop till that dude's on the ground. You see Reddick just like jogging. Oh shit, here he comes. Let me tackle. I think it was a scramble. Mac Jones scrambled and legit he lost on the pass rush and was like gave up and then he like turned around and was like, oh, and like kind of sort of made a tackle. Like I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, and you have incentives? Like you're supposed to be making money with incentives and that's how you play? Like, and then also when Sauce got the interception, like, hey, he caught a ball! Like if he was at home, he would have thought we were really cheering for him. It would have been the sarcastic cheer of the game we were at.
Oh, he would have got a Bronx cheer. Definitely. 100% Bronx
And
cheer.
we were
Notice
there.
how even the cheer is called the Bronx cheer. No one mentions like a Queens cheer. But go ahead. I digress.
But you know the game we were at where he got the tackle, we all cheered in the press conference after. Yeah, like the fans, they're so weird. They were cheering, bitch. Oh, sorry, dude. We were making fun of you.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep my. If I start cursing, it's gonna get worse and worse. So I'm keeping my own bottle.
It's fine.
Cap.
Real quick, while you're mid thought there, I'm sorry, but Addison said, I'm going to drop 5 memberships. We're going to double dip.
No.
We're going to DP 5 memberships, Cali style. Rick and Addison teaming up for a tremendous night here. Addison gifted, it went to DLB, One Jet's arm, no relation to One Jet's toe. That's no ghost. Jay Graves, the feisty Jet fan.
Oh, my other account.
Nice.
Nice.
New York Jets super fan and Alex Levine. Is that a cat or a raccoon?
I thought, are you talking about Bob's cat? Right?
No. Didn't you just move your cat?
No, they're moving themselves.
Oh, on YouTube. On YouTube, I clicked over to see the names and you moved it there. I thought I missed it here.
But you said raccoon. I thought of Bobby's
Like
cat.
shit, some people
Sorry,
have
I'm all
raccoons
over the
for
rails.
pets. Some people have raccoons for pets. We don't judge here. It's a judge-free zone.
No, we do. We like Bobby's raccoon.
We judge a lot.
But we don't
So,
tell anybody.
Continue. I'm sorry. Thank you, Addie. You're the man.
All right. So also, now about the victory lappers. Rodgers led our team in rushing yards. That's an indictment on our effing rushing game. That's not a flex. Our rushing game sucks so much that our 41-year-old quarterback led our team in rushing, and you're wee. No, that's not good. Not good. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You know, I gotta watch the recap. As you know, I literally came in the door and had to get on here. I saw probably 50 to 60% of the plays while we were out shopping today, and I tried my best to sit down and watch it whenever I could. Up at the Woodbury Commons, we were up there for the day, and every time I saw it early on, a lot of play action. They weren't running the ball. A lot of play action. Pass. I missed the first drive that we had. I turned it on just as they were showing the replay of Garrett Wilson scoring a touchdown. I'm like, all right, they're getting the ball downfield. They're opening.
You know, we
up.
went 3 and out, right? And then we got it on a fake punt. That was our first drive.
I didn't know that. I thought they got the ball first.
I'm like, of course, 3. So so Jacksonville hadn't scored an opening drive like us in like 18 games. Of course, our defense lets them march it down the effing field and score their first opening drive touchdown. And then we get it, and I'm like, of course, 3 and out. We're in punt formation. And I'm like on my phone, I didn't pay attention. And I look up, like, oh, first down, Jets. I'm like, oh, Ashton Davis took a direct snap, tried to kind of hurdle the guy after he got the first down, and then that got us our first touchdown of our opening drive. Had that not happened, who knows how this game would have gone?
Yeah. It's very difficult to get excited about a win that you played neck and neck with this team with Mac Jones a quarterback.
And a 32nd ranked defense?
Yeah. And you poorly coached it down the end. You scored when they let you. and you shouldn't have even run the ball into the end zone. Devontae trying to score and diving for the end zone. It's like there's no football IQ with this team or with this staff.
Yeah, he could have got the first down and just taken a knee. And we could have just started and then you could run the ball because you still have it's not end goal to go. So you could have really milked that clock to 1 second. And I mean, shoulda, coulda, woulda, we won. Had they lost, it'd be a way bigger talking point. But the fact that it's still a talking point and we won just shows you our coaching staff.
Yeah, they're not prepared. They can't get a run attack going. I think Jacksonville's the 32nd ranked defense. We're gonna brag about this. Stop.
Yeah. And he didn't even get 300 yards again. He was at like 298. I'm like, of course he didn't. Of course.
It's fair.
Yeah.
But Graves, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for becoming a member the other day and having your other channels or your other account subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you
in the chat. Stay feisty.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wiener Lady. Next up, as I said earlier, I couldn't be prouder than to be mentioned in the same sentence as this man. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in the big fella. How
What's
are you,
up,
pal?
brother? How are you?
I'm all right.
Good,
Aggravated at Jets fans, but that's what they win one game and they're acting like the Super Bowl's back on, or we can somehow get back into the playoffs.
You have a good time at Woodbury?
We did.
Good.
My ex and my good friend Alona, she was going out for the day, and
Nice.
yeah, she'll always have to go through treatment, but she just beat cancer for the second time, and I didn't want her going up there alone
Great.
and carrying all that shit. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go with you.
Oh, awesome.
So
Now
try to flame that, assholes in the chat.
Now listen,
I'm helping the love of my life carry bags because she beat chemo for a second time. Make fun of that, dicks.
you're a good man, man. I'm telling you. Now the game today. Am I happy we won? Of course. Do I want to see Rodgers succeed? Yeah, I do. Well, there you go. Do I want to see him succeed? Yes. Am I going to go crazy over this win against the 32nd ranked defense? No. Do I still want him back next year? No. He costs too much.
I agree.
He costs too much. It's, you can't overvalue this game. We only beat them by a touchdown.
Irrational people will, though.
Yeah.
Irrational people will be like, it's at the moment it changes.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, we beat the 32nd ranked defense. Okay? Let's see him do it against the Bills. Let's see him do it against, a tougher team than that. You can't you can't look at this through rose-colored glasses. You have to be able to, decipher what's going on. Did he have a good game? Did he run better? Yes, he did. Obviously, he did.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? Professionals are supposed to do that.
Yeah. We're acting like he's Lamar Jackson moving around. Like he got 40 yards rushing.
Yeah.
40. He didn't run
That's
for 100. He didn't run for 100. He didn't break a 70-yard touchdown run. Like what? It's just like we're seeing a little bit and we hope that it's exploding into something else.
Yeah, and Jay Graves was right. I mean, in the first quarter, if we didn't have that fake punt, we would have been 3-and-out. And if we're 3-and-out, who knows how the game was supposed to go,
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yeah, the people who are saying like Rodgers is, he's got to come back next year. You're crazy for $60 million. Now, if he restructures and everything like that, he would have to take a hell of a pay cut for him to come back, especially with the performance he put on this year.
Yeah.
He played
now.
He played better the past two games, but we're 4-10. We're 4-10. The whole season is what needs to be looked at. And he actually beat the 32nd ranked defense with a Hall of Fame wide receiver, our best wide receiver we've had in a hell of a long time. Okay, an offensive line that he hardly got touched. We beat him by 7. Okay. And yeah, the defense sucked, obviously. The defense isn't very good. But, okay, we need to, if they're going to let people score, we got to score a hell of a lot more. And we didn't. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. And I see comments in the chat. Like Jake says, he's not why we're 4-10, though. But, Jake, you can look at every single game. If you're going to put blame on kickers, you're going to put blame on the special teams, the defense, you have to put blame on him because he's missed a lot of throws. Yeah. He's had the ball in his hand 6 times this year to win the game, and he hasn't. He's missed throws throughout the game. Today, earlier in the game, he missed Devontae Adams deep. Last week's game, missed Garrett Wilson wide open over the middle. Would have been a touchdown. He's not seeing the field right. If you go watch the All-22, there are multiple times throughout a game he's not seeing it, and he's not getting the ball to guys that he used to get. How many times did we see him with the Packers? Hit someone on a quick slant because he knew the linebacker was coming, throws it right there. Yeah. They take the slant, split the safeties, and it's a 70-yard touchdown. We don't have any of those plays because he's not getting the ball to where it needs to be on the regular.
Exactly. And also, I mean, yeah, you can, like, I blame Zerline for a couple of losses, obviously. But the thing is, a Hall of Fame quarterback with the mentality that he has should be able to overcome things to make it easier for us to score. And it hasn't happened this year. So, I don't know. Also, can we get a play in on time? Why are we burning timeouts? Why are we burning timeouts with the clock? With the clock stopped? The clock was stopped already. I mean, they go out of bounds or a missed pass, and we're still getting delayed games. It's insane.
It sucks, man. It's like watching. And listen, he's not the only reason. For those who think that that's what I'm saying, no,
I don't think so either.
But I feel like I'm watching Jordan with the Wizards. Sure, there's going to be a nice moment. There's going to be a good shot. There's going to be a good throw. But there's going to be things he can't do anymore. And he's missed. Go look at how wide open. I could have hit Garrett Wilson over the middle last week.
Yeah.
He's not seeing it. He's not getting the ball there.
I'm glad he hit him
a winnable moment.
This week. He hit him this week.
To Mike Williams in the Buffalo game.
Oh, yeah.
Winnable moment.
The red line game.
The Minnesota game. Winnable moment.
Yeah.
If you're an average quarterback in the NFL, you make half of those throws.
Right.
Jordan not making any of them.
Jordan in his last year scored 20, which was good, but it wasn't Jordan. Rodgers is doing what he's doing, but it's not Rodgers.
Yeah. And
That's
what they say, oh, yeah, Kwame Brown. And now it's, oh, he's got this defense. Like, people who want to believe will go any length to believe it.
Right. Right. I mean, look, do I hate the guy? Of course not. Do I want him to succeed? Absolutely. I love this team, crazy as it seems, but I love this fucking team. And it's like,
I do too.
And it's like, we want the players to do well, but when you see something that isn't right, you can't lie about it. I mean, it's just not right, and he's not right.
Game 14 to score 30 points, big fella.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I've watched Rodgers put 30 points up in a fucking half.
Yeah, exactly.
Week 14 to score 30 against the worst defense in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying.
Still almost lost.
Yeah, and the thing is, it took us to play the 32nd ranked team to score 30 points. It's crazy.
There's problems. There's issues. This offense sucks. The getting the plays in sucks. Snapping the ball with time on the play clock sucks.
We must have had a good week of practice.
Of course.
Of course. But
we brought Brees Hall back to risk injury in the meaningless game when you're eliminated from the playoffs. Things are great. Yeah. Things are running so smooth, man. There's nothing wrong with the organization in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. It was I don't know. Like I said, I'm happy that we won. I'm happy Rodgers did well and everything. But at the end of the day, it doesn't move the needle. Do it against somebody who's do it against a team that's better than the worst defense in the league, and then we'll talk. That's it.
This is exactly what I said it was going to be all week. If we win the game and Rodgers looks good, it's going to be salt in the wound, and there's going to be people saying, now we got to keep him. Like, he had 13 games He had winnable moment after winnable moment against quality opponents, and it never came through. But
One positive of today: Sauce caught the ball. Sauce caught the ball.
Stop that. Awesome.
All right, man.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen him rolling his eyes in the back. I've seen him ready to attack me. I consider him a very good friend, but I have no idea where this call is going to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Mr. Bonesy.
I'm just rolling my eyes at the nitpicking going on. Like, I am not coming in here to throw salt on the wound. I am not, I wanted Rodgers to stay, for the last whole season. So it's not like I'm one of the guys that's like, oh, he threw for 303 touchdowns. We're back, baby. Like, no. But, like, you guys are nitpicking a little too crazy. Like,
we're not. Everything I said is true. You don't change 13 games over the second half of today. You don't.
But how many games did Rodgers play well enough for us to win? You guys keep comparing Rodgers to Hall of Fame Rodgers.
But here's
Compare
the difference.
Rodgers to
he
the
had a
rest of
top
the
10
league.
defense one time in Green Bay. Once.
Okay.
So he's used to playing with a defense that doesn't get stop after stop after stop. That's the difference. He's not capable of doing anymore. We thought we had a top 10 D. We all said it, myself included. We thought we had a top 10 D. We don't. And now
we didn't bring him in here, though, to do that,
anymore.
Nick. We didn't bring him in here to carry us. We brought him in here saying, look, we have a top 10 defense and special teams. All we need you to do is play average quarterback play to get us over the hump. Now, there's 7 games left. 3 games left. If he scores 7 touchdowns, he's going to tie our pitiful franchise record for touchdowns.
What was that adjective?
Pitiful.
What does that mean? Like,
that means that how could you be so positive about next year and you guys are nitpicking the first guy and the second guy?
I'll tell you why. Who's he going to tie?
What?
Who's he going to tie?
Another Ryan Fitzpatrick.
And
it's even more pitiful.
Second year ago. Second year, we all said it was a major mistake bringing him back.
Listen.
I can't
if
believe
you're
we got
telling
Rodgers
me
and Fitzpatrick on the same level, that tells you.
If you're telling me that you think, listen, all we're doing right now is we're wasting time anyway because it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the next coach thinks and if he wants to keep Rodgers. So we can banter about. That's why I'm not like,
But there is something very big. I said it earlier. Will the Johnsons mandate keeping him or removing him? That's something we don't know. Will that be part of it? Will they say, hey, you have to be on board with Rodgers if he wants to play? If he retires, that's one thing.
Yeah. But
we don't know if there's going to be an ownership mandate in the interview process.
If Rodgers stays, that means Adams is staying and they're both reconstructing their contracts because they're not staying here for money. They're staying here for pride, records, and because they want to win. So if they stay, they're not coming in here like, yeah, I'm only staying and you're paying me my full contract. No, Rodgers has already demonstrated that he'll take the largest pay cut in sports history. He'll do something like that again. So all this, 63 million cap hit. It's like, yo, that's not what it's going to be. So let's stop talking about that. If Rodgers is here, that's not the cap hit. So let's get that clear. Right?
Nate with a great comment. At least we have Corley next year, no matter what.
And at least we have Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis that both look like solid day 3 running backs that can make Brees expendable if we want to get a good draft pick.
Really? The 2 guys that couldn't outrush Rodgers today?
Well, is that
against the 32nd ranked defense?
Another thing we promised Rodgers, we were going to come here and be able to run the ball. We can't run it for a lick. The 42-year-old man has to throw it every time to even survive. We have been so like me myself since I take it too seriously and
that's a good question. Hold on, are you wearing velvet? What is this? Someone said before, is that a green Santa jacket?
This is just a Jets blanket because I'm in my basement and it's fucking freezing.
Nice
so this is just a nice cozy Jets, throw over.
Do you mind if I bring on 2 people with you?
Sure. I could take the heat.
All right. Well, first I'm going to bring on Santa Claus. We thought you had a green Santa coat on. Ladies and gentlemen, Santa Jake is here. And
Oh,
we also
There
have
he
to
is.
bring in Gator. I had to put the whole band.
There's a good look at this. Look at these good-looking fellows that I am surrounded by. This is amazing.
I'm fucking aggravated with you right now, Nick.
I couldn't tell by your comments in the chat that I chose to
I
ignore.
blame
I knew
Neil,
you would
Nick.
call in if I stopped replying to them.
I blame
This-
Neil.
Also,
You're-
you look like one of the heads in Queen Bohemian Rhapsody video. It's very dark around you, just your head popped up.
Ugh. Well, you look like Al Qaeda took a shit. You want to talk about it now?
Rubble. Comes in like the angry mob.
Listen, you got to calm down, pal. None of us are sitting
am
here
calm.
saying that Rodgers has got to be the guy next year. I think we're all in agreement that the
I
new
heard
coaching
I got
staff
called
that
out
comes
on
in.
Jake's show by somebody calling in saying that. I heard Neil called in, calling me and the big fella out for calling him out for his takes.
When did you like slander? I don't even remember catching it, to be honest.
You smoke a lot, bro.
Listen,
You've been
can
killing
we all-
Rodgers a lot?
Can we all agree?
I haven't been
that-
killing Rodgers. I don't even know how Neil said that. I haven't even called Neil out for his take. I don't know. I just think he saw the big fella do it, and he thinks both of us said the same shit. Like, I really, I don't know. I haven't mentioned Neil at all, so I don't know. I just said the other day that people got to keep it in perspective and not get to where Neil gets.
Did you, by the way, did you actually say that you didn't watch the whole game today, that you missed like half the
I
game?
did miss the majority of it, yeah.
And you're here and you're here talking about the game, and it almost sounds
But
like
I'm
you
also
didn't
talking
watch
about the
game.
entire season. Like, one game
Okay,
doesn't make
but-
the entire season. One game doesn't
100%.
change one half. Because the
100%.
first half, you have 3 completions. This doesn't
But-
change anything.
But can't we all agree that the next coaching staff that comes in, the next GM that comes in, they're first and foremost are gonna make a decision as to whether or not they want to move forward with Rodgers. If Rodgers wants to stay, there's no debate there.
Okay.
So the only
And
debate
if the
is
Johnsons say, hey, it's your call, you do whatever you want, will they say you have to keep them? Will they say you have to get rid of them?
right.
We don't
Well,
know.
that goes-
We don't know if there's any
that's-
mandate coming down.
That's understood. So there's no debating it. So all it comes down to is, how does Rodgers look in these last 4 games? Well, today's test, I think, was a pretty good result, and so was last week. Both games he played
But-
very well. I think
Can I
everybody can
reply to
agree
that
on that.
before you
You
move
can't
on?
agree on that because you didn't watch the game.
No, it's not that.
Got him.
Nobody in the Jets organization has said these last 4 games decide anything. That's fans'
no.
takes. Nobody
This
in the
is-
Jets
but this is-
organization
no,
has
you
said
don't have
the
to
last
say
4
it. It's-
games are deciding.
You don't have to say something that's obvious. Okay, it's
don't
just
think it's
obvious that he's auditioning not only for himself, whether he's going to play on another team, or if he's going to stay with the Jets. So right now, all that's left to play for is him personally auditioning for A, am I capable? B, do I want to stay with this organization? And 3, am I going to end up somewhere else? So
Yes,
that's what's happening. But based on the last 2 games, he was better than average. He was
Okay.
top 10, top 15 quality quarterback that we've always wanted. This defense, again, lets us down week after week after week. This coaching staff
Sure.
sucks. And this coaching staff may have actually ruined Zach Wilson. And I hate Zach Wilson, but I'm starting to actually think that if Zach Wilson had a decent coaching staff, maybe he wouldn't have been the piece of shit that he is. That's how bad this coaching staff is, that they've actually convinced me that maybe Zach Wilson isn't that bad.
All right. I think
But-
just to get one of the points replied to before we throw it to Santa Jake over here, who looks awesome, by the way, I have to say. Everything you said, though, about Rodgers, that's proving it to himself. There's nothing, I don't think these last 4 games decide anything with the Jets, because it depends on the Johnson mandate or no mandate, and it depends on who's coming in. It depends on, is Rodgers willing to learn a new scheme at 41 years old? Are they going to want to go with a 41-year-old quarterback? Do they want to run a more mobile scheme? There's so many factors that come in that I don't think the last 4 games really mean shit in the big scheme
Of
of
course
things.
they do.
May it
No,
mean
I
it to
disagree.
Rodgers with like, hey, I believe I could still play. I
I
want to do
disagree.
another year. Sure, but that doesn't have anything to do with the Jets' decision. That's a Rodgers decision, not a Jet decision.
Can I say
These
one
last-
thing before Thana Jake goes? Can I say one thing?
Please, man.
If you really feel that a new coach is going to come in and he's going to rather go with the choice of like Allen, who thinks we're rebuilding next year with no intention of trying to win. A coach's mindset and model coming in is we need instant success, especially in New York. And if you really think that he's going to go into it with like, oh man, I'm going to grab the rookie quarterback and he's going to be the thing that changes versus a Hall of Fame guy who could be the bridge and help me develop a quarterback, where the quarterback this year has shown there's been at least 6 games this year that Rodgers played well enough for us to win that we lost. So I just
There's
look at
also
it from
been those same 6 games where he's had the ball to win.
but
and
you
we
can't
lost.
count games like I forget what game it was. We got the ball back with 17 seconds and no timeouts. Like that doesn't count to me.
All right, 5.
That counts
I'll
as
give
a
you 5
game
then.
that he
5.
had the ball in his hands,
5.
or against Minnesota where
Bonesy,
someone runs
but
the
you know
wrong
that
route.
there's a stat that they keep, and it's one of the greatest stats to tell what a quarterback does. It's called game-winning drives. There's a reason. You get the ball to the quarterback delivers, you win. He didn't do it this year. Today.
But he also had
How
6
many
games where he
times
didn't
did our
get that chance,
defense?
though.
How many times did our defense give the game away at the end?
3 in the
man.
last 4 weeks.
Come on, what are you watching? You're watching half the games because you're shopping.
But I'm also not watching a quarterback deliver the first 3.5 quarters. And he puts one drive at the end. It's not good enough. He's missing throws left and right throughout the game.
Yeah,
You
but
talking
he's
about when he
making
gets hurt?
throws. Like, dude, when you said about 3 times you brought up that he missed Devontae today. Did you happen to notice the times that he caught Devontae today? That
Well,
like
no,
he
he
actually
did hit Devontae later for the touchdown, and it took
Right,
us the
but
10
why
game
catches,
14
that he
almost
missed
200
him?
It took
yards,
us
3
the game
touchdowns.
14 to get an explosive touchdown. Like we're gonna go
Every-
nuts over game 14. We finally
not
got a
going
touchdown from the other side of the field.
All right, every quarterback in the league is going to miss a guy here and there. Okay,
And
so he
every
missed
quarterback
Devontae
in the
today.
league has had an explosive score this year. Until today, we were the last one to join them. We're the last team to have a touchdown over 50 yards, besides the kickoff return that we had.
Well, I think Jake even put it in the chat a bunch of times. You got to start counting up the drops, and there were a few bad drops today that were actually ridiculous. One of which was Devontae.
That's fair. Real quick, couple super chats to get to. Thank you, big fella. This is an all-star panel. Jay Quest coming in. I'll be right back. I'm going to rub one out to this panel. He's probably back already by the time that got put on air. Georgie, shout out to Clancy. Jets won because of you. Shout out to Leanie and everyone else, her family that traveled to Jacksonville today. Jay Graves, Rodgers was in the Wilson corner. He was. He was indeed.
For 1 week.
That's longer than anyone else was, though. Only Hawk. Hawk was the only guy there longer. What's your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, Nick, I think you're being way too hard on Rodgers. And I'm not even like a Rodgers guy, like bring him back. I still think it's more likely than not he's not here. But like you saying you didn't see a lot of the game today, it makes sense because he played one of his best games by far. Like they had 3 possessions in the first half. Like there was a BS false start penalty that went against them that took away a drive where they settled for 3. Like he played really well today, and he played really well last week. So I think over these last 3, if he's healthy and he keeps running around making plays, there's a scenario he's back. I think if you're going to bring him back, the only way I would personally bring him back is if you're still drafting a quarterback early, like in the first round or in the second round. But I mean, he's played probably like an average quarterback this year. Statistically, he's got 23 touchdowns, 8 picks, over 3,000 yards. I think he's had the ball late and he didn't do the job. I think it's a BS stat because he did his job against New England and then Jacoby Brissett went 80 yards down the field on them. He did his job against Indy and Anthony Richardson went 80 yards on the field against them. Even the game against the Dolphins, he certainly did his job and they blew it last week. Like I don't know. They're 4-10, but while Rodgers has not been great, he's probably been about an average quarterback. And if you get a real coach who can get the defense and special teams figured out, I think there's a lot of talent on this offense that you can win some games with next year. He's not your long-term answer, but I'll take him
Oh yeah,
maybe for another year. Like I think you're being very dismissive and saying it's irrational to bring him back. I don't think it is. I think it's unlikely at this point, but he's looked like a different quarterback the last 2 weeks. We have to at least acknowledge that.
yeah. Well, when you play the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL, you should look good, right?
I agree. But
Like Mac Jones looked good against us.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of my point with Rodgers. Like he was supposed to have a top 10 defense this year. Since they fired Salah, they've been a bottom 3 unit, in scoring. So
I just
it's
can't put a
not
lot of
just him.
stock in going against the Jaguars, the 32nd ranked pass defense, and
All
saying,
right, what about last
he
week?
looked good.
And what if he looks good over the last 3? I think that's what
What if he
Bonesy's
hits
trying to
Garrett
say.
Wilson over the middle last week? Touchdown. What if he hits Garrett Wilson in Seattle? Touchdown. Twice he missed Garrett. The fade to the corner, and then another one up the middle.
If you're expecting him to be the Hall of Fame quarterback, he's not that guy. He's inconsistent.
I'm not.
But
if it's
but it
already
sounds like
this
you are.
decline, there's going to be a greater decline going forward.
Not necessarily. That's where I'd push back. I'd say I want to see what the coaching staff looks like. If they get a real offensive coaching staff and they actually have a running game, right? They don't throw the ball 73 times or 73% of the time in the red zone, and they actually take advantage of the fact they have Breece Hall and Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. Like they could be a much more balanced offense. I just think Aaron could be a decent game manager under the right circumstance.
Okay.
I don't think he's great, but
Let me
I think
push back on that.
How can you push back on that? He's thrown
Who's
8
your
picks all year.
replacement,
Here's
though,
how I'm
Nick?
going to push back on it right
Who's
now.
your replacement, though?
Hold on
Nick?
a second, but hold on. That's not my call to make. We got to see what GM
But
and what
who's-
staff comes in. They might
But
have
what-
ties to
name
somebody.
me anybody. Like, would you rather bring in
It's not my
Sam
call to
Darnold?
make. We don't know who the coach is. We
But
don't
I'm
know
just
the
saying,
team that they want to run.
anyone in the
Hold on, let me-
NFL
wait,
currently
wait,
besides
wait.
rookies.
Let me
Go ahead.
push back on Jake real quick with that.
Sorry.
You're saying game manager. He has this scheme for 15 years, and he can't manage and get the ball out to the guys underneath who've been wide open time and time again. Garrett Wilson is slamming his helmet. Ruckert was wide open in the end zone in the first half. Jefferson, the receivers coach, had to calm Garrett Wilson down on the sideline. There's guys getting.
That's because he was
time
held
and
on the
time
previous.
again.
Nick, you weren't even watching that. That's because he got held on the previous play. He was pissed
Guys,
about
you
that.
can't keep saying that because you don't know what I saw and you don't know what I didn't saw.
But
You
that's
guys
why
can't
Garrett
keep-
was mad. That's just not true. Like Garrett was mad because he got held on the previous play. That's what that was about.
Okay.
All I know is when I hear names like Jameis Winston, Tyrod Taylor, Sam Darnold, it's like, what are we really taking Allen's point of view of going into next year saying we're not good enough to compete and it's just a wash year, let's save the cap space? It's like you can't think like that as a brand new coaching regime coming in. We already rebuilt we already attempted the rebuild, strip it down with JD and Salah, and we got to this point where we have a talented roster with no coaching. If you bring in a correct coach, Rodgers is an average enough quarterback. If you give him a top 10 defense and a top 10 to 12 running game and a top 10 special teams, like we promised him top 5 and we can't even give him top 20. So it's just like what we're watching on the field is something we've seen once in the last 15 years. The fact that we're going into this like, oh yeah, let's draft a young quarterback in a non-quarterback draft and think he's going to come in and even come close to putting up the stats that Rodgers or even being in the position to six times we lose on field goals, 3, and the defense just blowing it completely. I think we're overthinking what we're seeing.
How many more wins do they have if the defense is anywhere near what they've been the last 2 years? Right? How many more wins do they have?
But
if
they're not, and that's not coming back.
Yeah, but I think that is coming back. You hire Mike Vrabel, I think you have a top 10 defense next year. You hire Brian Flores, I think you have a top 10 defense next year. Look at look what Brian Flores is doing with the Vikings. Name me how many players on defense
they don't have
you could name.
Right, Jake? They don't even have a talent like that. Like,
yeah, I think it's coaching, Nick. Like they win the Miami game with better coaching. They win the Colts game with better coaching. They win the Patriots game with better coaching.
It's not a problem. That's not where I'm at.
But like you're so down on Rodgers, and like I just don't think it's fair. Like he's not what he was. We all see that, but he's
down on him. It's just that
Neil called you out.
I've seen enough misses that I can't be fully on board because I don't think you get it back at late 41 years old.
But who's the quarterback next year? Like what is your plan?
I don't know yet. Tell me who the coach is. Tell me what the scheme is.
Mike Vrabel's the coach. Mike Vrabel's the coach.
Oh, obviously you bring back Ryan Tannehill. He's a couple years younger than Rodgers, so it'll be great. I don't know. Like, I don't know who the coach is going to be, the offensive coordinator. We don't know the scheme that they're going to run. Like, we got to get to the first domino before we get to the seventh.
Look, I also think that Rodgers has only really been healthy for 6 games this year, the first 3 and the last 3. And so if Rodgers is guilty of anything, it's not acknowledging the fact that during the Denver game and more so the Vikings game, that he really needed to sit. If he'd have sat for a couple of games, it might have been a different season. So if I'm angry with him over anything, I think it's specifically that, because the Rodgers that's played the last 3 games, I think is good enough to have carried us to a playoff contention, assuming our defense was decent. The guy that played in the middle of those games was definitely lost. He had no mobility. He definitely was hurt, even though he says he wasn't. That guy was not the same. But he was running today. He looked like he did in the New England game, the last 2 games. And I think that's the guy that we wanted. That's the guy we were hoping we'd see. And if that guy can play next year, I think he's better than anybody else we can get, especially as a bridge quarterback.
Well, also
Yeah,
too, Nick, you
okay.
keep Devontae if Rodgers is back next year.
Oh, I know.
Like they don't have any receivers outside of Garrett Wilson right now. Like you're going to cut Lazard. Your number 2 wide receiver would then be Xavier Gibson or Malachi Corley. So you bring Rodgers back, and maybe he would. See, here's the thing: everyone talks about the dead cap stuff, and that's my big thing. But if he were to take a pay cut, and maybe some of that goes to Devontae to keep him, and all of a sudden the dead cap for keeping him for another year is not $63 million; it's cut in half, let's say, to $30 million. Then I think it's a no-brainer, assuming he finishes this year healthy and he wants to play next year and he keeps looking like he's looked these last 2 weeks. Then I don't even think it's the debate. I think the only debate is the 1 year of Rodgers and then the dead cap going to $63 million in 26. Because I think he's still your best option of any of the quarterbacks we're discussing right now, based on how he's looked these last 2 games.
There was a play today. It was 3rd and 7, and Rodgers scrambled out, and he ran. We're eliminated from the playoffs, and he ran and ducked his shoulder and ran the guy over for the first down. And it's just like, look, everybody wants to talk about Rodgers. He's old. He doesn't want to take hits. When that motherfucker's healthy, he's playing. He's not here to collect a paycheck and duck sacks.
How about that 3rd and long one that he threw to Devontae on the sideline? Was an incredible throw. And his catch was insane.
That catch was just crazy. That toe tap is insane.
Insane.
That catch was crazy. That Devontae catch was nuts.
And it was great. And it was a nice moment. But there's so far and few between.
Not true. There was 22 other good moments for all the touchdowns he's thrown. We haven't seen 18 touchdowns, more than 18 touchdowns once in 15 years. Like, we have to stop comparing.
Doesn't mean that it's good
to
enough to get where we want to go. Being better than a pile of shit.
That's not true. Rodgers
this
year's gameplay could have got us. Sorry.
Hold on 1 second. A little bit of business to get to. Jay Graves coming in with her 2-month super chat. To be clear, I'm not happy about it, but I still think Aaron is our best option next year. As of right now, he probably is. But you got to look at the financial ramifications of doing it, and you have to look at it if a new regime will want to extend the money into multiple years of their regime without an answer.
Yeah, but Nick, none of us are capologists. We can't all sit here and pretend we understand the cap and how it affects things. You know, this is something that they're going to figure out. And sure enough, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. But I don't think there's any debate that Rodgers right now, at least, unless somebody becomes free, there really isn't a better bridge quarterback for next year that I could see.
Agreed, but we got to see how they're going to do it.
Rodgers ranks 7th in touchdowns among quarterbacks. Not too shabby for a guy that we're trying to get rid of.
Carly in the chat says she's a cap.
Now
she's
do
a
the rushing
fish?
stats. Do the red zone efficiency. Give me the other stats.
Dude, why is it on Rodgers the rushing stats? Why is that his fault?
It's an offense.
Because everything's his fault.
Saying,
it's
Bonesy,
the
everything is his fault, you know?
If Lamar Jackson's winning MVP when they have the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL, like, you get credit for it. When your passing attack is good enough, it backs guys off the line. When you're throwing the ball downfield effectively, not waiting till week 14 to hit a 71-yard touchdown pass,
do you know why, though? You know why that we aren't hitting deep balls because we have no play action because we have no run game. For what Rodgers is doing without a run game, that's impressive in itself. We can't run the ball for a lick. He's 41. He has to throw it 35 times a game because we can't run the ball for shit. He's our leading rusher today. It's fucking pitiful, honestly.
Agreed.
And we spend
energy-
way too much time talking about Rodgers, deficiencies, and not enough time talking about our defense because our defense ruined our year. I'm sorry. Fuck everything else. Our defense is the reason why we're not
We should
competing.
have
right now.
promoted Middleton.
Absolutely. Genergy is not awful. She's fantastic. She comes in with a super chat. Thank you, Jen. Life short. Enjoy the win. We will never agree. We are Jets fans here to make it rain. Wepa! Thank you, Jen. And ladies and gentlemen, 25 gifted 5 memberships
Whoa.
that went to Alex, Matthias Morales, Vino, Santa's Fuzzy Nuts, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I would suggest not gifting anymore. It may have maxed out again. This is really, really getting old very fast, YouTube. This is getting old. You should have a $5 refund in the next day or two, but anybody watching, do not gift. They won't go through. If you want to support the channel, super chats would be a great way to do it going forward. Thank you to everyone who
Nick,
did
are you
gift.
sure you're not maybe hitting a ceiling as to how many subscribers you have versus how many memberships you have?
There's not. I asked if there was a percentage that it could be. I was told no. I'm being told that members don't have their gift receipts on. I was like, that's not true because there's people in the chat during the show who haven't been gifted, who've been gifted. It expires and they're not getting it too. They don't know. I don't know.
What's more likely to happen? Rodgers is back as the Jet quarterback, or people can get memberships on your channel?
Look at Connor's message he just put up about Rodgers ranking 6th. What is he saying there?
Rodgers ranked 6th among QBs with 21 big-time throws, according to PFF. What's a big-time throw?
I don't know.
What is their?
It's past his bedtime. Maybe he's hallucinating.
Yeah, he's just.
I mean, there's been a lot of passes that are short, and Garrett Wilson will take it and it'll go over 20 yards. But big-time throws, man, we're not seeing those downfield very often.
Ooh, Allen with some breaking news.
When he's
saying
healthy.
we're 4-10.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it.
I find it crazy that like we've all been watching the same games over the last 15 years.
Yes.
And the fact that we all have faith in our organization to replace Aaron Rodgers with someone who could give us quality quarterback play, I have zero faith. I'll take Rodgers until he can't move back there, as long as he's throwing touchdowns. Listen, it's happened once in 15 years that we've had a quarterback since Mark Sanchez did it that's thrown for more than 18 touchdowns. And we're sitting here complaining about him at 23 with 3 games left. At least we're putting points up on the board. At least there's been multiple games that we've been like he's done what he could to let us win, and the defense has either screwed it up by letting them get a walk-off loss on the field or a kicker missing a field goal. I just think with better coaching, we would be like in a better win percentage, and then all the people who are only worried about the record would be like, all right, well, we have a good record, so let's not complain about Rodgers because he got us wins. You know?
Do you know the key to Bill Belichick's success for many years?
Tom Brady.
It was knowing when to get rid of a player before it was too late. He
Or
did that
having the
time
greatest
and time
quarterback
again.
ever.
That
And then when he didn't have
He
one,
got
he
rid of
sucked.
Brady, and then that was it, dog.
Yeah, how'd that work? Brady then wins the
Brady
Super Bowl
wanted out
immediately.
at that point. Brady was 40-something years old. Brady wanted out at that point. Belichick didn't get rid of him. Brady said, I'm done. But
Yeah,
there
because
was many
Belichick was a
players that
dick.
Belichick
That's
moved
why.
on from in the early 2000s. There were many players that he let go of and knew when to get rid
the
of them.
replacements that came in performed better than the guys that he let go. You cannot tell me with confidence that you think the next guy that's going to replace Rodgers is going to play better than he is this year. That's the problem I have with everybody. Even Allen. Allen knows. Allen's signing up for Tyrod Taylor and calling the year. It's like you can't. I'll bet anybody in here and whatever money you guys want to bet me if Rodgers isn't the quarterback next year, whoever his replacement is not going to score more touchdowns and yards than he has this year.
Nothing would make Allen happier than a 6-win season next year. He'd get off on that. It'd be like, oh, we can't get any of the top quarterbacks, and we didn't win enough games to make the playoffs, so I could be annoying in the chat for a year straight. That's his Super Bowl. 6 wins, baby.
Can you guys say honestly that this team, this Jets team, would have won more games with any other coaching staff currently in the league? Any other coaching staff, without a doubt.
100%.
100%. I mean, Ulbricht's press conferences make Saleh look like Bill Parcells.
Right.
When you hear that guy.
Dude, his answer today, I went back and watched it. His answer to why they had Brees score instead of kicking using the timeouts and kicking the field goal. Oh, my God. I couldn't believe an NFL coach was that stupid.
Cincy Matt coming in with a super chat. Hey, F you, YouTube, sending Rob V and Briga to your headquarters. Let Nick Shine get his bag. Thank you, Cincy Matt. And I apologize again for Bobby Midnight yelling at you the other day. That was uncalled for, and I appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you.
I think we did the league a favor by exposing Ulbricht so he didn't get a head coaching job.
I still remember when our owner stepped in 5 games in and fired the coach and didn't even ask the locker room or anyone how they felt about it. And everyone was so bricked up. And look at him. So bad, man.
Joe Bonesy comes in with a comment saying we fired Saleh for a worse version of him. That's true.
Wait, I just thought of something.
That's
Do you
cool.
realize the fan base excitement for Ulbricht is similar to the fan base excitement for Tim Boyle when he replaced Zach Wilson? It's almost identical.
Strebler too.
Yeah, Strebler too. It's
how
the same
How about
thing.
Mike White? There was
like
Mike F in white shirts. There was bricked up
No,
t-shirts.
Mike White's
Mike White was
Mike-
different, though.
Mike White's
Mike White
different.
had success, right?
If Mike White never got
had
hurt,
a
you
less
never
winning
know.
percentage than Zach Wilson.
If
Come
Mike,
on, with your
if Mike
eyes,
White
though,
never got hurt in Seattle, was it Seattle or Buffalo? No, it was Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Right. If he had never gotten hurt, you don't.
We
know
don't
what
have
would
Rodgers.
happen. We wouldn't have Rodgers.
It's true.
But man, it's the same. It's the same blueprint with Tim Boyle and Jets fans. They were all
It's
like,
the same blueprint for the Jets.
Tim Boyle.
Yep. It's the same blueprint for the people who don't want Rodgers. It's the same fucking thing's going to happen. We're going to be here next year. And you're going to be like, man, this quarterback can't even throw a touchdown. He's finishing with 12 touchdowns and
what's it going to be next year?
interceptions.
What's it going to be next year? It could also be, oh, man, our field goal kicker missed kicks. Oh, man, it's the defense fault. Oh, man, it's the coaches. The new coaching staff doesn't know how to use Rodgers. Oh, they changed the scheme on a 41-year-old quarterback. The excuses are already built in. It's just a matter of which one is going to pull up on the dial for people to use.
Come on, dude.
Tell me you're not going to hear
points this year, though.
Bet me right now.
Okay.
If it goes bad next year, these are the excuses you're going to hear. Oh, they changed the scheme on Rodgers. He's 41. He shouldn't have had to learn a new scheme. Oh, they didn't do that. Oh, they didn't bring in enough wide receivers for him. They didn't bring in enough tight ends. Oh, it's the fans. They're booing them because we're losing.
Come on. This is a Hall of Fame guy.
It's
cut and dry. It's cut and dry with Rodgers.
Everybody fades. You're not going to go from 41 and average to 42 and elite. And you're not going to turn the roster over enough with the financial tightness that we have next year in order to make a big enough difference. You're not.
We're all in agreement that if Rodgers comes back next year, him and Devonta, he's taking less money. He's not staying on that
quarterback. And who's stopping the run? And who's playing safety? And who's going to fill in for CJ at linebacker? And who's going to be D tackle? And who's going to replace DJ Reed?
Yo, I think we could be, if we didn't
$80 million in cap space, they could do all that.
They have a ton of dead money next year.
Yeah, but it's more dead money if they get rid of Rodgers next year. He's only under contract for $23 million against the cap next year, so they can do all those things you're saying.
They're going to get a fatty to stop the run. Jermaine's going to be back. I don't even know if Sherwood stays because
wait. We don't even know what scheme we're going to run. We've been waiting for 5 goddamn years to get a fatty to stop the run, and we still don't have it. You can't just say
that's
that.
solid scheme, though. That's solid scheme.
How do you know what scheme we're going to
play
run?
like 3 safeties, like and then
we haven't even hired the head coach. Never mind the defensive coach. We don't know what scheme we're going to run. You can't throw that out there like it's a given today.
But I don't think.
Who do you want them to hire? Who do you want them to hire? Who's your dream coach?
If Vrabel's interested, I would like Vrabel. That would be a guy that I'm okay with.
And if Vrabel says Aaron gives me the best chance to win, and I want to, if Vrabel says Aaron gives us the best chance to win, and I want him back, you're going to be upset with that?
I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to be surprised.
Because I think if Aaron plays like this down the stretch, he's back and Vrabel's the head coach. I think Vrabel
I'll be surprised, and here's why. I'm not going to be against it, but I'll be surprised because I can't see anybody, whether you're a first-time head coach or whether you're a guy who's your second time, and usually your second time is your last chance as a head coach, right? Very few get a third opportunity. Running it back with a 42-year-old quarterback, I would be shocked.
41.
He'll be 42 by the end of next year if he's the quarterback.
December, booed.
So you're telling me if they get Vrabel in, right, and he's like, no, I don't want Rodgers. It's too much against the cap, right? You think them bringing in a Jameis Winston or a Sam Darnold or paying Sam Darnold big money, or you would rather
Sam
have
Darnold
that
who has
route?
more? Since you're so big on stats, the Sam Darnold who has more passing yards and more passing touchdowns than Rodgers this year, because you loved the stats earlier when they were for your argument.
I will give you $1,000 to $10 odds that if Sam Darnold comes to the Jets next year, he doesn't put up the stats that he left Minnesota with. Zero chance. There's zero chance Darnold's coming here, so we don't have to talk about it. He sees ghosts in New York.
So,
but I'm just saying.
Wait till he sees those drones.
Yeah, they're in Jersey, motherfucker.
He's going to shit himself.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you. I got a couple people waiting to come in. Thank you so much for calling in.
Hey, shout out to the Rusty Spooner and his mom.
All right.
Tremendous.
See you, Nick.
That hat is tremendous. That hat is tremendous.
I'll be working on a new Shadow Realm with you, Nick, by the way. So you have that to look forward to.
He's about to bring in all the gun. He's bringing in Alan. Now we're going to have to hear Alan and Nick talk without us on here. You're going to have to bring me back in. Look at him.
Fuck.
Look at him.
Bonesy, let me ask you a question, Bonesy, okay?
Hit me, baby. Hit me.
They have $33 million of cap space next year. And that
another fucking capologist joins the show. Welcome.
Okay. DJ Raid, who's not going to be on the team. That includes Tyron Smith, who's not going to be on the team. That includes Javon Kinlaw, who's not going to be on the team. That includes Tyler Conklin, who's not going to be on the team. That includes Hassan Reddick's not on the team, okay? And you are going to fill all that cap with that little cap space. You're going to have to find yourself a number 2 corner, 2 safeties. You have no idea what kind of player Jermaine Johnson's going to be next year coming off an Achilles. You need to fill in a guy to play next to Quinnen. You have no idea if
you need 2. You need 2 defensive tackles.
Yes. You have no idea if Jamian Sherwood's going to come back. He might get $10 million from somebody else. We may not be able to afford him. And also, we have to pay CJ Mosley to get off the team. So you have all that little cap space with a defense that you still say is top 10. I don't buy it anymore. This is not a top 10 defense. This isn't even close to a top 10 defense.
Alan, let me ask you this.
Honest.
Let me ask you this, Alan. Let's take a team like Minnesota, who's very well coached. Their talent level on defense is not better than ours.
Right now, they are better than us. Yes.
Statistically, yes. And their scheme is beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, they blitz all night long. It's like Remember the Titans. But if you look at from a skill set standpoint and who's making more money, who's had more all pros, you factor all that in. Our defense has more talent on it. If you give a good coach a decent roster. You're telling me that you wouldn't feel comfortable with the cornerbacks on if DJ Reed wasn't in today. I feel like I'd be comfortable. Well, actually, no, Eccles isn't here next year either. So I don't know what we're going to do about corner. But we have all our draft picks.
Wait, I'm confused.
Got to build to the draft.
Alan, when you say Rodgers, if he stays next year, isn't his hit only like 23? And
it is 23, but
we cut him, it's like close to 50, right?
Yeah, but that means everybody's gone. I'm saying that
so all you're talking about is throwing in the towel for next year then.
I am in a sense because I don't think we have the roster going forward next year if you bring Aaron back.
I don't think the fan base wants to do that.
And I don't think Woody wants that, bro. I don't think Woody is going into this. I want to bring in a coach that's going to give me another rebuild year for the future. Yeah. He's bringing in a coach that's like Woody just said, this is the most talented roster I've had in my last 25 years.
We're not the Carolina Panthers,
his mindset is I'm winning this year. So he's not going into this next year with your mindset. He's going into it that he wants to win.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Liam Cohen is hired as the head coach, okay? Liam Cohen has done an unbelievable job in Tampa. They've been talking about Mike Greenberg, who's going to be a GM candidate, and he wants to bring in Liam Cohen. You think Liam Cohen, an offensive mind, is going to want to come here and deal with this quarterback? You honestly believe that?
I don't.
Nobody.
I don't think
nobody.
If we go that route, that's the way I could see. And I think that's a possibility depending on what Rodgers wants as well. We don't put any weight into Rodgers' decision, but football people and coaches and the real GMs and people behind the scene, they're going to put weight into if Rodgers is like, yo, me and Devontae are going to run it back. I'm going to take a pay cut. Let's do this. I guarantee someone's going to want to sign up for that.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, can you do a poll?
Yeah.
Can you do a poll in the chat? I'd be curious how many in the chat.
I bet you'd be 60-40 wanting him back.
But wait, what I would say is cut Rodgers and tank 2025 or keep Rodgers and make a run in 2025. I think that's kind of what we're talking about, right?
But define what a run is.
But you're skewing
what
the
is
poll.
a run?
You're skewing the poll because keep in mind.
No, making a run is like it's tank or go for it. There's no black and white. It's black and white. It's
but
tank or go for it. If you cut Rodgers,
say make a run. Everyone's going to say make a run because you're skewing the options.
But if
we have Rodgers
if you cut Rodgers, I don't think it's realistic that you can make a run.
How's our run this year? We're 4-10 with Rodgers.
Yes.
But we have the worst coaching staff in the history of professional sports.
Again,
he's coming
back. He's coming back at 41 years old.
I agree, but it doesn't guarantee a run.
Of course not. But that's the poll. The poll is: do you want to cut your losses and just tank next year, or do you want to try to win?
No guarantee. Wait. Hold on. It's going to be keep them or cut them. Because you can't. You can't.
And if you cut him, it costs you $50 million, right?
49 million. Yeah, used in
50 million, whatever.
49.
They're not the San Francisco 50ers.
49 million.
Yes, all in
so
one.
You're pretty much deciding at that point that
you're packing it in, right?
You're packing it in. Yeah. 2025 is a wash.
Who the fuck wants to do that?
I'm of the belief. Hold on. I'm of the belief that I don't believe the ceiling of this team with Aaron Rodgers back next year is that high that I'm willing to sacrifice $63 million in 2026. And I don't think any coach who wants this job
What if
it's
the same way. If it's 29 million though?
He's not going to do. I don't.
How
think
do you know that? He took the biggest cut in NFL sports history already.
He's not going to do it again.
How do you know that? He's loaded beyond loaded. He's not playing for money. If he comes back, it's because his best friends on the team, they want to go for some records, and he wants to. If you're telling me in your soul that if you don't think Rodgers snuck into the playoffs, that he could have some magic, he still can make throws in the pocket. Today, Allen, you can't even say that he didn't make throws that were like, all right, that was Rodgers-esque. All right. He still got a little magic. Like, he's not Rodgers, but it's still there. Like, he
But
can
what
still
happened-
do some shit.
What happened to our defense? What's going on in our defense the last
But
2
this
years?
is about Rodgers. I
fired
get it.
Solid.
I agree with you, bro. Our defense looks pitiful, and it's coaching has a big thing to do with that. It does. Come on, Allen. Come
Sorry,
on,
their
baby.
defense. The talent is not great anymore. Honestly, there's a lot of holes on this
Yeah.
defense.
Well, we
The
had
scheme is so
injuries this year,
vanilla.
too.
The
You
scheme
can't-
is terrible. I get it, but there's more
So
holes
vanilla.
than you think. You're gonna have to fill at least 5-6 starters going into next season on defense, and
Yeah.
you don't have the cap space to do it.
But we got the
Unfortunately.
draft. If you get it, I see. That's where I'm
Wait.
scared. A
Wait,
GM has to
let
come
me
in and
chime
hit on
real
some
quick with
picks.
that, please. Let me chime in with that. That's if you keep this scheme.
Yes.
If you change the scheme, you might have to change the pieces. I've said it
You do.
before. I like Sauce. But what if you bring in a guy who wants to play man, press
Can't play
corner
man.
in your face? Sauce
Can't
gets
play man.
ragdolled by receivers and gets blown off the line. He can't bump and run.
Would you
You
take
can't
a
But I don't
first?
think there's any-
Would you
I don't
take
think
a
there's
first
any
and a third for
Denver
Sauce?
scheme. You
Absolutely, I
can't
would.
play Denver's
Right?
scheme with Sauce. Sauce
Yeah,
can't
We're
but-
do
not,
but
what
we're
Nick-
not
Shanahan
keeping
does.
the scheme.
But
Everything's
Nick,
going to
what
change.
if we trade Sauce for assets? We have like value pieces that we could trade if we were going to switch schemes up, because that's what happens. You bring in a scheme, and if your players don't match the scheme, you trade them. You
Yeah,
know,
but the problem is there's nobody to replace.
Yes, but
him.
we're saying as of
There's
right
no-
now, to build this team next year, as is, you need 6 pieces on D. If you're
6.
changing the scheme, if you go 3-4, you need more linebackers. You need a nose tackle. You need more pieces. We don't know what the scheme is, so we don't know how many pieces we need. We don't know how many players we're going to let go because they don't fit. We don't know if Jamie Sherwood's going to say, this is the scheme I want to play in. They're changing their scheme. I have no interest in playing for the Jets anymore because this is where I'm utilized best as a running linebacker. I can't play in a 3-4 because I'm not big enough to play a middle linebacker. We don't know yet, guys, so we can't talk in definitives about what next year is going to need.
agreed. We
Bonesy,
don't. No,
Bonesy.
Wait. Bones, you got to go. We agreed. We're ending on that.
Bonesy, you like Jamie and Sherwood, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like-
for
Okay,
a player that we
You're
developed,
gonna give him $10 million a year,
if we run a
that's what it's-
4-3, if we run a 4-3,
and you're gonna give him $10 million. I don't think the Jets will, but you're gonna give him $10 million a year.
I get
now.
if it's maybe not.
Then who's gonna replace him?
I don't know.
It's
but
not
whatever-
Mosley. Mosley's pretty much dead right now. He's never gonna play again. He's not.
What?
He's finished.
But we'll probably get a if Mosley was to sign for $10 million somewhere else, wouldn't we get like a nice third
Mosley
comp
is
pick?
not playing another down.
Not Mosley.
Again.
I meant if Sherwood signs somewhere else for that amount of money, don't we get like a comp third pick?
Yeah, but you're gonna have to replace him, and most likely they'll.
I know, but
they'll
yo,
wash
we're
him
gonna
out.
we're gonna have a lot of draft
pick
picks.
until 2026.
Yes, and also
Oh, okay.
I was bothered by the fact that they're gonna let DJ Reed walk and not get anything for him. That's a problem also.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity to get rid of him before the trade deadline.
They were still
but you
trying
let
to
him
win,
walk.
save
Yeah, but that's
jobs.
another
never-
reason
they
why.
were
That's
never-
another reason why
a
Douglas
good
is
point.
gone. The same reason why he didn't take the kicker off the freaking practice squad and Kansas City stole him.
Jake makes a good point.
Joe Douglas was a disaster this year.
I was looking at his supposed cap number going forward for Sherwood. He's between $8 and $11 million. That's what they said he's going to make. He's also 25 years old. Quincy took much less. Quincy, also another thing, if you're Quincy going into his final year, he's going to be like, you know what? Give me $17, $18 million.
Quincy's
a year.
renegotiating this year.
He's
Quincy's
renegotiating his contract.
renegotiating 100%.
Absolutely. And you know what? He might say,
Bonesy.
I'm gone.
All right, yeah, I'll go.
Oh, excuse me. Bonesy, thank you for calling in. I love you,
Yeah,
buddy.
buddy.
I'm sorry that we
See you
yelled. I
guys.
feel dirty. I don't like that
It's
we
all
argued.
love, baby. It's all love. I'll never be mad at you.
I'll talk
All
to
right,
you. Be good,
fellas.
pal. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'll drop
I didn't know he was
'cause
back.
I know Alan can't stand me, so I'm going to leave.
I don't like anybody, so it's totally fine.
Bye,
Nick,
Gator.
Nick, I
Real
totally
quick,
am in this.
hold on. I'm
yeah.
going to bring in. I didn't know he was backstage for this long because there's 5 cameras and then there's one underneath, and I enlarged the screen. Tigo, I'm sorry. I don't know how long you were back there. I apologize.
Oh, a while. I've been tweaking back there, dude. Just because like a lot of the things that you're saying make sense, but a lot of the things that you're saying just doesn't make sense. Yeah,
Like what?
absolutely. So the Caps situation, if you cut Rodgers, you lose next year, just like you said. But you can restructure Rodgers and free up that money so that it's not that big of a cap hit in 2026, and you can spread it out into 26 and 27. Also, and I hate this excuse because Nick keeps bringing up this excuse. Regardless of who the coaching staff is, you can evaluate the quarterback talent. Regardless of who the coaching staff is, who's available at quarterback?
Okay. Again,
That's
as
the
I said,
simple question.
Hold on. If Liam Cohen is hired as a head coach and you think he's going to want to come here with Aaron Rodgers on this roster, knowing there's going to be a 63.
Okay?
I'm
let
sorry.
me
you
turn that
have to.
question back on you, Elon. Let's say Liam Cohen does come to the New York Jets, and we have now cut Aaron Rodgers. Who's under center for Liam Cohen? We're not going to be in a position to draft a guy. We're not trading up to draft a kid because we're not going to be able to get there. So who's quarterback? Tyrod Taylor for a year?
I think he will have the assurance from the organization that he can develop his own quarterback. That's the only reason he would take this job. He would take this job knowing
who's that quarterback.
I don't know. You know what? I have no idea who the GM is. I have no idea who the coach is.
But that doesn't matter.
But you can't bring
reality
back
is
a 41-year-old guy on a team that's 4-10 and expect him next year going into his 42nd year to be better, knowing
it's
that
not about being better. It's about the rest of the team performing to the level that they should. The defense before Saleh got fired was actually okay. The offense was the issue because we still had coffee boy Nathaniel Hackett calling plays. Let's not forget that. And so now you fire the only guy who's making the defense work. We get a worse version of him. And now the defense sucks. Now we change nothing ever happened at the same time. And the reality is just like you're right. There are a ton of places that we need to fill on the defensive side of the ball. And they don't need to be all that expensive because you can really easily pay Jamien Sherwood, and I think the New York Jets would because he's one of the best linebackers in football.
But you don't
$10
know
million per year.
You don't know what scheme we're going to. You don't know
the highest likelihood
in this.
The highest likelihood is that in the NFL is that you're probably going to be running a 4-3 defense. And if you're not running a 4-3 defense, and let's say you are running a 3-4, you're still in the nickel 60 or 70% of the time. So Sherwood is going to fit on this team regardless of if it's a 4-3 or a 3-4, because a majority of the NFL plays out of a base nickel. It doesn't matter the scheme if you're a 3-4 or a 4-3. We're playing in the nickel most of the time.
Jake, thank you for the super chat. He just spoke to Liam Cohen, and he told me he wants A-Rod.
No chance.
Real quick, everyone, if you're watching for the first time, thank you. Please subscribe to the channel. We have 77 of you watching right now. Not the 77 of Becton, not the 77 of Tyron Smith. We've got to find a good 77 one day. Please, 78, even better. There we go. So like the stream, please. Share it, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching and dealing with the chaos that is being a Jet fan. Addison comes in with a 6-month member super chat. Is Tigo wearing a salmon-colored shirt? I don't trust that I'm seeing
mustard.
Orange. That's mustard.
Mustard.
It's like this.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And while we're here, it didn't load? It didn't load. All right, go ahead. I was trying to get the poll results, but my YouTube is frozen. Go ahead, guys.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to renegotiate his contract again? And B, do you think
I don't know.
Absolutely. He wants to play.
Here's the thing.
Here's the whole point of this. Let me ask you a question, and then this is going to dictate. Does he want to keep playing football?
Unfortunately, if he's going to renegotiate his contract, he's not going to change the type of quarterback he is. I don't think he's going to change his scheme. I think he's going to tell the Jets, I'm renegotiating whatever I want to do. I'm going to try to play the way I play. I don't think a new offensive coordinator is going to come here and change the way he plays, and that's the problem. I just don't see it.
You can't say that because he's already changed the way that he's played this year because we're running more play action. He's running more play action. He's running more motion at the beginning of the of plays, which he didn't do in Green Bay. He's already adapting to the new NFL, which is a ton of motion, a ton of play action, and a ton of things happening. With the current staff, that's horrible. So you can't say that at 41, he's not going to change. I'm not saying that he's going to drastically change. I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to run RPOs now from, no. You're right. He's going to want to stay in his wheelhouse of what he's comfortable with, but you can't say that he's not going to change, because we saw change this year compared to the last 20 years. He didn't used to put players in motion. Now almost every play starts with a player in motion. He didn't used to throw to, well, he still doesn't kind of throw at tight ends, but that's more because our tight end talent is dog water, not because of, his ability. So like, and to be fair here, I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is that Aaron Rodgers coming back to the New York Jets is the best case scenario for the New York Jets, short-term and long-term, because the development of a quarterback, especially with this upcoming draft class, if you have not watched this upcoming draft class,
It's garbage,
go and watch it. It is atrocious. And all of the guys that you're going to be within range are going to need a year. They're going to need a year.
I understand.
And if Aaron Rodgers comes back, you know who stays satiated and isn't going to probably want to ask for a trade? Garrett Wilson. Because Garrett Wilson isn't going to want to have Tyrod Taylor throwing the ball to him.
I just have a feeling if Aaron Rodgers comes back, it limits your coaching capabilities in terms of finding the right guy. I think you're hamstringing your team and your coaching staff keeping him here. I don't think a coach like a Liam Cohen or even a Mike Vrabel, I don't think Mike Vrabel is going to take this job wanting Aaron to come back. I
think they all do. I think if you come to the New York Jets and we're picking 11 and you go and you look at this draft class and you say, we're not going to be in reach of the top 3 guys. And I don't like any of the top 3 guys outside of maybe Cam Ward, but we're not going to be able to get them. So what am I going to do at quarterback? If you're Liam Cohen, if you're Mike Vrabel, if you're in Ben Johnson, he's not coming here. He's going to Jacksonville. But besides the point, Kevin Stefanski, if he gets fired and he wants to, and we want to run him back, whatever.
But breaking news.
I thought there was actually
announcing Ben Johnson going to Jacksonville. It's breaking news. Awesome.
Oh, no,
yeah.
I think real quick. I got a couple super
Chicago,
chats to get to. 25, thank you. I have inside sources that Alan is taking his accounting skills to the Jets so he can help with the cap situation regarding Rodgers. Alan, can you confirm or deny?
It's actually going to be for another team, but I'm going to leave it at that.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Continue.
Nate comes in with a super chat saying, can Alan give reasons why he's so confident that Liam Cohen would definitely not want A-Rod as QB? Also, Tigo versus Allen is the ultimate nerd off I never knew I needed. Thank you, Nate.
Mustard versus mustard.
I saw that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And the big fella comes in with super chat saying cutting Rodgers doesn't necessarily mean you tank 25.
It does.
Agree. Now, the poll results. The poll results were, should we keep Rodgers? 72% of you say yes. 27% say no. 54 total votes. Also, there are more of you watching than there are likes in the stream. If you're watching, please
fix
just
that
give a
shit
like.
right
It's
now.
free to support the channel. Yeah, do it. Throw a thumbs up. Throw 2.
Look,
do
my
whatever
boy
it
is
takes.
playing right now for the Seahawks, the new Jet quarterback. Sorry, Sam Howell. That's the guy I love. So I'm sorry. Geno Smith just got hurt. So
I'm a fan of Sam Howell.
Bad?
As well.
Carted off.
He's
like,
limping off the field. So they bring in Sam Howell in. Yeah, go on.
No, like that. Like my whole point is no. If you cut Rodgers, 2025 is a tank. You're not going to be able to fill out a roster. The concerns that you have about being able to fill out a roster get worse if you cut Rodgers. Because
why is it a tank?
Because I just said it. You have literally no money. If you cut him, you literally have no money.
It's not hard to win 5 games in the NFL. We've won 4.
We won 4 with this team.
It's not hard to win 5 games. But when you have you need a right tackle because you're not bringing Moses back. We have a lot of needs, no doubt.
You need a wide receiver too, because
we don't know the schemes. We can't say it's a tank.
We don't have a lot of money. Also,
but we're saying how bad the coaching is. We know we're getting new coaches. It's not difficult to win 5, 6, or 7. We won 7 games twice with Zach Wilson.
But it is when you're losing half of your starters on defense.
We can't write off next year tied to or with or without Rodgers. We can't make that the only decision.
No, but
we
you
watch time and
can.
time again in the NFL how coaching changes everything.
Yes,
We
coaching
can't just
changes
write off
everything.
next season. We can't.
Coaching changes everything when coaches can bring in players. If you cut
We don't know
Rodgers,
who they're bringing
they
in.
can't bring anybody in.
Tampa Bay brought in the Baker Mayfield, and everyone said that they're tanking. How'd they do last year with Baker Mayfield? Wait, answer my question.
Baker would
Everyone
be
said
an
that the
elite
Tampa
level.
Bay Buccaneers gave up on 2023.
Who's the Baker this class? Nick, who's the Baker this upcoming?
I don't know that because you don't know until you combine coach, quarterback, and scheme. Last year, people said before they saw the product that the Tampa Bay Bucs are tanking. They brought in Baker Mayfield. They don't care about 2023. They're looking ahead. And Baker Mayfield did what? He got in a scheme that worked for him. He played very well. And where did they end up going? Someone remind me.
Yep.
Where did Baker Mayfield go last year? Where did the Bucs make last year in their tanking season?
Yeah.
They
won their
now,
first
that doesn't
round.
guarantee that the New York Jets are going to make the playoffs next year. But what I'm saying is everybody can't make these fucking definitive statements that it's a tank. It's not. You don't know. Look at what Washington's doing this year. They drafted a quarterback. They got a new young offensive coordinator who's got a good mind, and now they're winning games. We don't know what the pieces are to the puzzle yet to make definitive statements on what 2025 is going to bring this team, guys. And that's just not you. That's the entire fan base.
But here's the problem with that assumption, Nick, is what you're assuming is, one, Baker Mayfield, when he when he left the Rams and he becomes available and he goes to Tampa, he was at that time a starting level quarterback. There's not one starting level quarterback not named Sam Darnold available this offseason. That's the problem.
And
so are you
don't know who we're going to get. You don't know who we're going to get.
No,
and
it doesn't matter,
I'm not
Nick,
making any assumptions. I'm making a definitive statement. Nobody can say if we have or don't have Rodgers, the season is a success or the season is a tank. We don't know yet. We don't know who's running it.
Nick.
We don't know who's making the picks. We don't know who's calling the plays. We don't know who's taking the snaps. We don't know what players we add. We don't know what players we draft. We can't make definitive statements about the 2020. Hey, listen, raise your hand if you made definitive statements about the 2024 season. Raise your hand if you said this team was making the playoffs. Raise your hand if you said this is the best roster we ever seen on paper. So our definitive statements don't hold any fucking weight. We have to wait.
Of course not.
See.
Of course not. Of course we have to wait and see.
Real quick, I have to pee. So what are we doing with Jordan Travis? Thank you, Genergy. Thank you for being a member of the channel for 4 months. You're effing awesome. I'll tell you that again and again and again. Wasn't he supposed to sit and learn? Yes, but here's the thing. I'm going to answer this, and then I'm going to get up to pee. Old regime made that pick. New regime might have another guy that they want to build and they want to mentor with. Now, am I saying definitively? No. That he wouldn't be a part of a future regime's plans? We don't know yet. But it's usually a new regime wants to get their guy. When Joe Douglas came or Robert Saleh came in, what did they do? They moved on from Sam. They went to Zach Wilson. So a new regime usually means let's get our guy in here. Let's get a guy we want to mold. Unless you have that definitive franchise quarterback, you usually bring in somebody new. I'm Nick Shine. I have to pee. I support this message. I'll be back momentarily.
Yeah, Jordan Travis can go kick rocks. Like that's the best way to say it. He's damaged goods. He wasn't gonna. People like to overhype Jordan Travis. Before he broke his ankle, he wasn't gonna be a top 3-round pick. He might have gone to the 3rd round. Yep. After he broke his ankle, he went in the 5th. Like we're talking about a backup quarterback. Don't pass on a quarterback. Don't do a Hackenberg again. Is the point? That's
I worry about people wanting to bring Rodgers back and thinking their ceiling is anything more than maybe 8 and 9, 9 and 8. I just don't think there's a major ceiling next year. And I would rather I don't want to sacrifice future cap hits of guys that are not going to be on this roster like Rodgers for next year, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, that the 41-year-old guy is going to take his game to another level or be a similar type of quarterback. I don't think he's the same quarterback anymore. I think at best this is an 8-9 team next year, and I don't want to sacrifice future cap, dead cap on this. That's the
Here's
problem.
How
here's
can
the
you
thing,
make a
though.
win prediction though when we don't even know any of the things I just stated?
No. But here's the thing, Nick. That cuts both ways. You talk about needing to replace all these guys on defense. That's not
Yeah.
necessarily true. And what I mean by that
I
is,
said it's a possibility.
No,
if
no.
we change a scheme, we might have to have a major overhaul. You might
but
have
let
to
me
if you
let
bring
me
in
cook
somebody
here.
from Pittsburgh, we're probably running a 3-4.
But you're not bringing in someone from Pittsburgh. They don't have anybody in this hiring cycle. I've looked through all
I'm
the
just
3-4
saying
teams.
that if
No. What I'm saying is I've looked through all of the teams that are on 3-4. None of them really have a guy like, if we hire Liam Cohen, there's a possibility that if he brings one of the defensive guys from Tampa, well, we're back in a 3-4. Now we're going to have some conversation. But regardless of that, let's have a conversation, because you guys are always talking about like, oh, you're just cutting Rodgers doesn't necessarily mean it's a tank. Well, why is it that us having a limited cap space, even if we keep Rodgers, and bringing in defensive players, that we can't get better? Why is it that a new coaching staff coming in can't improve the guys that are already on the roster? Why is it that if we need a new defensive tackle? We can very much easily get one in the draft. There's a really, really good one in the top of the first round, but we can get one but what happens if a new coaching staff comes in and loves the way that Q and Kinlaw play side by side? I'm not saying that I love that idea, but they make those guys work. The same level of conviction that you have in saying, well, you're not going to be able to do that on the offensive side of the ball, you can say about it on the defensive side of the ball. The same level of conviction that you say, well, the season's not over just because you cut Aaron Rodgers. That's not necessary. No. It absolutely is, because we have no money to replace anybody. But regardless of it, it's like, oh, if a new coaching staff comes in and they get their quarterback, we might be able to get some wins. Like, all of that isn't necessarily true. So if we do have Rodgers and Devontae stays, our offense is still going to be better, and hopefully we get an actual play caller on offense. What's saying that we can't do the same thing on defense? What's saying that we can't get to middle of the pack? We've seen these cornerbacks, that like backup corners, Nick mentioned it all the time, do really, really well on this team. What's stopping us from going and drafting a safety in the mid rounds and him doing well? What's stopping us from bringing back Sherwood 4 years, just like let's give him 4 years, $40 million? Why can't we do those things? And why is it
because
that we're
this regime didn't value safety? They'd rather put extra money into the D-line.
Absolutely. But a new regime might value safety, and they might put value in the safety. They might look at Jamie Sherwood and say, look, this guy's a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. We're going to want to keep this guy with Quincy. You're under the assumption that Quincy is not going to play out on his final year of his contract. And I totally understand that might not happen. But even if that doesn't happen, you know what might happen? You renegotiate his contract and his cap hit goes down. Just because you renegotiate a contract, you don't have to put those cap hits on the front end. And the cap does this magical thing. It goes up every year. So what is a $10 million cap hit this year that might hurt doesn't hurt in the later parts of it. So the whole point is that if you cut Rodgers, you're taking 49. There's no out of that. Yeah. And you're not going to be able to create enough cap space to fill out the rest of the roster to have a competitive year. And that's why you can definitively say that regardless of what you do with Rodgers, your best shot at winning games, if that's what you want for 2025, is Aaron Rodgers. Because if you cut him, you won't have money to spend on players. And Tyrod Taylor is 98% going to be your starting quarterback, and you're not winning games with Tyrod Taylor, where you can possibly win games with Aaron the way that he's been playing the last couple of weeks. That's the whole point.
Now, you have to look at it from a new regime coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did Joe Douglas do? When Joe Douglas was interviewing for the job, his original pitch to the Jets was, I need extra years because first thing I have to do is get your cap in order. And that involves a teardown.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what.
Secondly, then I'm going to start to build it. So I'm going to need a 6-year deal because you are not an easy 2-3 year fix with this organization. Fast forward 6 years. if I'm a GM interviewing for the New York Jet job, I'm going to have the same exact discussion with the Jets brass. And I'm going to say, you have cap issues. You went all in. You have a 41-year-old quarterback that we might have to move on from, because I don't want to waste 2-3 years of my cap with that cap hit. I'd rather get somebody who's going to get a cap hit in year 2 who can be here long term, rather than have to deal with dead money in year 2, 3 of my regime, and you fire me in year 3 because in year 3 we never put a goddamn competitor on the field because we were dealing with the last regime's fucking failures.
Can I counter that real quick? If I'm a GM coming in and I'm having this negotiation, hey, look, we know what the state of the team is right now, and we know that objectively the best scenario for the New York Jets is Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback next year. But we also know the storm that's going to come after that. I'm going to need extra time post the Aaron Rodgers years because I'm going to have to retool this team. Joe Douglas had to tear down a team that had no talent on it, get rid of a bunch of bloated contracts to then start building it up. Luckily for me, as the new general manager of the New York Jets, I'm not as far set back as Joe Douglas was, because we have a ton of talent on this team that we can keep around for a long time, like Quinnen Williams, like Sauce Gardner, like Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood, like Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald. And that's just on the defensive side of the ball. That's not talking about the fact that we've realized that we have a 3-headed running back room, because Brees can still run the ball well. Braylon Allen can run the ball well. I forget the third guy's name out of
Isaiah Davis. Yep.
Thank you very much, Elon. We have Garrett Wilson. And if we bring back Aaron Rodgers, that means we're going to keep Devontae Adams. We have 4 of the offensive line positions already done. Look, give me 1 year. Let me see what I can do with Aaron, but I'm going to need, me and my coaching staff, the ability to get our own quarterback after the Aaron Rodgers year, and I'm going to need some time to build that up to get out from under the cap hits that Joe Douglas gave me. Can you do that for me?
So you're basically starting the new regime in 2027, knowing that there's going to be a major cap hit in 2026. They're going to go all in on 2025 with a 41-year-old quarterback, knowing there's going to be a major hit in 2026.
It doesn't need to be a major hit in 26. You can
going to be a
lessen
major
the
hit.
cap hit in 26 and put some of it in 27, so that now the major cap hit that's happening in 26 is now a minor inconvenience in 27 and kind of a pretty serious inconvenience in 26. And here's the benefit. In 26, that's the rookie quarterback. That's the rookie quarterback. That's the year you trade all of your assets to go get the rookie. And who cares if you have a $45 million cap hit in year 1 of a rookie quarterback making $2 million?
But isn't that the same year you got to pay Sauce $25 million a year?
Yeah, but he's not going to hit the cap at 25. He's probably going to hit the cap at 10.
You got to.
We don't know if he's going to be here. We don't know.
I don't think he's going to be
that
here.
too. You can trade Sauce.
We don't know.
Garrett's going to want $32 million.
If you want to bring in a Flores, you want to bring in someone who's going to run a man press. Sauce does not have the strength,
again,
the upper body physicality to jam people at the line and get them off their routes. He doesn't. Every time he's up in someone's face, they swipe him. They're open, wide open on a slant across the middle, and he's playing catch up. He doesn't have the strength in his arms and shoulders to jam people and get the better of them at the line. He doesn't.
There aren't very many teams playing man coverage in the NFL right now. So the likelihood of us getting a coaching staff that is going to come in and play man press in this generation is not likely. So, like, can we stop making mountains out of molehills? We're talking about changing a scheme and doing all of these other things. The highest likelihood in the NFL of a new defensive coaching staff is that we're going to play out of a base 4-3 in a zone-heavy scheme. That's what we do now, with just different play calling is going to make that better. The likelihood of Flores ever getting another head coaching job is so minimalistic. So, like, let's not talk about that again. Like, why are we talking about, like, the only guy who blitzes heavy and plays man like that? The only other team that plays man that heavy is New England, and they don't have anybody on the coaching staff that's willing, or not willing, but that's going to get a defensive coordinator job. The reality is the highest percentage and the highest likelihood of what we're going to get in the defense next year is a 4-3 heavy zone. 3 siblings, because he's suing the NFL. That's it. That's it. He's suing the NFL. No one's going to give him a job.
I
As
think
a-
it's going to be very unlikely for a new regime to come here wanting to keep this quarterback. And if you say they want to keep this quarterback, pushing money down the road, I just don't think they would. I think they're going to want to blow this up. I really do. I truly do. I think they going to want to blow it up, have their own guys, and take the hit next year. Or if you want, you can split it 15 one year, 34 the next year. I would blow the whole thing up. I would get rid of the 49 next year. And I think that's what a new regime, I think they're going to go up to Woody Johnson and they're going to tell him, we want our quarterback. We do not want to be saddled with this quarterback, knowing that there's going to be a cap hit down the road. I just don't think they're
but
going to want
teams
this.
sign up for that all the time. Coaching staffs do that all the time because here's the reality. New Orleans is going to have that situation this year. You're going to have to go into a situation where you're going to have to blow it up, or not necessarily blow it up. You can retool, like I was saying, and everything like that. But you're going to have dead cap that you're going to have to deal with. It's going to be moving down the road and everything like that. No coaching situation is going to be perfect. There's not a single job that's going to become available unless Andy Reid retires, surprisingly.
I think the Bear job is the best job. I think the Bear job
I think Jacksonville is the best job.
I think the Jacksonville job is a close to. I think that's number 2. I think the Bear job's the best job because I have a feeling that Ben. Yeah, you say Ben might want to go to Jacksonville. I think he'd want to go to Chicago because I think he's had firsthand looks at Caleb Williams, and I think he truly believes he's going to be the one who wants to change him and who thinks he can change him into a top-notch quarterback.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I still think Jacksonville, just because warm weather, you have the established quarterback. That's what he had in Detroit when they got Jared Goff. He had an established quarterback, a quarterback that he doesn't have to teach how to play in the NFL. And I think that overall, I think that Jacksonville is just the better team.
I think Chicago's a better team than Jacksonville.
But I think Chicago is closer to having, again, semantics. Why are we talking about Ben Johnson? He can end up in either one of those situations. But still, you're going into a situation, the same kind of complaints can happen.
Sorry, what's going on, Nick? I can't hear you.
You're muted.
I can't hear you.
I am muted. I don't know how that happened. But
that's why we weren't letting you talk. My bad, bro.
That's fine. That's fine. I've been unmuted for a while and you still weren't, but don't act like it was just the mic. We're going to start winding the show down with what did we learn? Go ahead. Continue. We'll get a couple what did we learns and then closing thoughts. Each of you. Go ahead.
You can go first, Tigo.
I just think, I think the biggest thing that we learned is that we have no idea what's going to happen this offseason. The spectrum of what can happen is incredibly wide because you can still bring back Aaron and tank. You can do both. If you say, I want to spread out the cap.
We have Aaron and we're 4 wins.
No, but we're not tanking. We have Aaron and then the worst coaching possible. Those are two separate things. We didn't give him a good coaching
clarify
staff.
Something. Give me my thing on tanking is a team that's good enough to win, but they're not winning. They're intentionally losing. That's tanking.
Vegas is tanking. Vegas is tanking, right?
Giants are tanking.
Giants are tanking.
How are the Giants tanking? They weren't good enough to win in September or October.
No, but benching and cutting Danny Dimes, regardless of how bad he actually is as a quarterback, he was still the quarterback that gave you the best chance of winning. You're not going to convince me.
Yeah, but you didn't want to get the injury and you didn't want to lock into that long term because if he got injured, once the season was done, you're like, we're not tanking. We weren't good enough winning with him. It's not like they were 7-1 and they cut him.
Yeah, that's a tank. We're going to take our best player. It's sad that we're saying that. We're going to take the player that gives us the best opportunity to win, and we're going to put him on the shelf. Or what Vegas did. Vegas is doing a master chef of tanking. So
there is a possibility where we have Rodgers next year, and then we just have to bench him because we're not good enough to win with him again.
Yeah.
True.
No, but if you want to tank, you can tank with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh God!
You can because again, a coaching staff might want to spread out.
I'm sorry, I don't want to open that rabbit hole. We got it.
Of course, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying the point of what I was trying to say is the spectrum of what can happen is so wide, and we're gonna get more information as the GM comes in and the head coach comes in, and that's that. I think the whole thing is I think the thing that we learned today is that we learned nothing. We have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen.
What we've learned today.
Hold on. Tigo. Go ahead, plug away.
Stocking Jets with Tigo. Everybody should know where it is. That's it. I don't want to plug stuff. You guys have a good night.
Tigo, thanks, buddy. And I need you to send me your high score on Galaga. I need to see that. I love
What
that
we've
game as a kid. I was obsessed with
I
Galaga
did.
as
I
a kid
love
on
Galaga too.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
That was the best.
What we've learned today is this organization has had some really piss poor quarterbacks over the years. And unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers is the best of the piss poor quarterbacks. He's been okay this year. He hasn't been top 10 quarterback. And unfortunately, people are looking at Aaron Rodgers and seeing a savior in 2025. And unfortunately, I don't see him being the savior. I really don't. And I don't think it really behooves the organization, whether they bring in an offensive mind or even if they bring in a Vrabel to bring back a
Yeah.
quarterback that's going to be mediocre at best in 2025.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? We are not in a position as fans, content creators, and even the Jets organization right now to have one definitive answer about what 2025 will be. So if a regime does come in and they do to keep Rodgers, it's not we told you. That's just what that regime chose. Another regime may have chose something different. There's no definitive answer for it's not like there's a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or a Lamar, right? There's no you're not automatically taking Rodgers. And I think that's something that people need to be more receptive to, that there's a very good chance, in my opinion, he's not the quarterback of the Jets. That might be his own decision. It might be the owner's decision. It might be the new GM. It might be the coach's decision. You might bring in a guy like a Cliff Kingsbury, who's might be getting head coaching opportunities, and say, I want someone younger. I want someone more mobile. I can't run what I want to run with Rodgers. So that might be something. These are all possibilities. We don't know. Like I said, who the quarterback is going to be is probably domino 6 or 7. We need to first find out GM, head coach, offensive coordinator, scheme. Does he fit it? Does he want to play? Okay, he's quarterback. There's a lot that needs to happen before we get to that. But Alan, thank you as always for calling in. Thank you for the super chat.
Always a
I
pleasure,
have
man.
some things I need to do. It's not
Go on,
laundry,
man.
Gator. Be good, pal. Let's see. What did we learn? Jake, I learned that Allen is the best GM coach and NFL cap guru ever to do it. Very nice. I'm looking. Jay Graves learned that it's fun to call into Nick's show, and I should have done it sooner. Hell yeah. I believe you called. You've called before. Nick wants to tank. No, Nick doesn't want to tank. I don't want to tank. We have Rodgers now, and we have 4 wins. Would this be a tanking season? Addison learned I need to adjust the color on my TV. Looking. Addison learned this can continue in the DP. Always. Tom Ace, what did we learn today is reserved for silliness? Yes. Roger, I learned even if we win, we have more questions than answers. Yes, we do. That's what happens when you fire a head coach after week 5 and a general manager in November. Tom Ace learned we'll find out more about the Jets' future in January. Yes, sir. I don't know what I said to get this, but I appreciate you agreeing with me, Jen. Rick Kent, I learned I need the Shine Time song as my ringtone. I'll send it to you. I have it on the phone. I'll send it to you, buddy. Hamid learned definitively that definitive was the root word of today. Yes. Very good. I learned that Genergy just had the comment of the goddamn night. We have no control, but as fans, we like to think we do. Nice. Addison learned Nick just wanted Allen to himself. Boomtown, you go ahead and drop it. I'm trying to get there. I learned Allen's name may well be Alon. Interesting. Raul Havana, have the Jets released a date for playoff tickets? Not yet. Chrome, Nick, if you had to choose one, Pete Carroll, Rex Ryan, or John Gruden. If I had to choose one, John Gruden. Pete Carroll, no. Rex Ryan, no. John Gruden's an offensive guy. I would go that way out of the three. Pete Carroll, I don't want any part of at his age. Rex Ryan, I don't want any part of being out of the game for 8 years and not being able to develop an offense or a quarterback. The same reason we fired Saleh, only caring about one side of the ball and not being able to develop an offense or a quarterback. You know, the Johnsons don't go back to back with the same thing. They'll go in a different direction. Metro learned that Nick shops for Moose Knuckle. No, Nick passed a store called Moose Knuckle. Addison learned YouTube has ads for butter, and I just got one. Nice. Clancy learned that getting weed outside of the places you know is not easy, and the grass stuff, not the person weed. Nice. Rob learned that. Rotten tomatoes. Tom Ace learned, if we wish hard enough at 11:11, we will get everything we wanted in life. Rusty, I learned race car spelled backwards is race car, and so is noon, and dad must look at the tape, though. Nice. Bring sibling back. Rick Kent, I learned hashtag ban Rob the racist from Glenhead. Nice. Blitz. Missed a fun one. Gator, I learned I shouldn't call into Jet shows when I'm angry. Stick to Goober next time. Nice. Boomtown, I learned no racist allowed. Thomas a frisky fuck. Nick at 277 pounds. Now out of the running to play DT for the Lions. Gator enjoys the butter and the lollipop lifestyle. Nick is on fleek, whatever that means. Very good. Bonus, to show support for Jay Graves, show your winners. You can pop it in out of the DP and vice versa. One Jet's arm, no relation to one Jet's toe. Getting the impression Nick doesn't want Rodgers back. Bonesy, I learned that Allen wants Sam Howell over Rodgers. Double bonus, Bonesy is a velvet blanket. Bonesy in a velvet blanket is next level. Jay Quest politely excused himself to run one out for the All-Star panel. Tonight was some of the best conversation debate this show has ever seen. Appreciate that. Triple bonus, Allen would get off on a Jets 6-win season next year. Thanks to Tigo, we now know the correct pronunciation of Alon. Alon is worried about many things. Robert C. I learned my cell phone battery is at 10% at 11:11 p.m. Roger, have a good night. Everyone have a good night. Joe the Jet G coming in late. I learned that I still wish we had an amazing young QB. Yeah. Fact. Cincy, I learned that Alon is Nostradamus reincarnated. Nostradamus. Jake learned that everyone in the chat is wonderful. That's amazing. That was solid, Nick. Also, that's what she said. Wow, Nick, that was pretty good, actually. What was? You guys, I don't even know what your comments are for sometimes. I'm behind on the comments. Oh, the Robert C. impersonation. Yeah. Robert C., give me another comment and I'll read it like you. As we start to wind down, we'll do a little national anthem. We'll end that tonight. Let's see. Robert C., have another comment? Hey, Team Curry here. Enjoyed you on Jake's show. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming over here to this channel. Hope to see you around more. There are 69 of you here. Pause. No Diddy. That's what she said. Please make sure. Robert C. says, I don't know what to say. And then he always looks at Tammy and tells Tammy to hold on. Poor Tammy. She's always holding. Jake also enjoyed me on Jake's show. No Diddy. I learned that our QB could throw for almost 303 touchdowns, and we still find ways to nitpick. You know what? You could tell Clancy's without weed because he's being complimentary to me. Wow, Nick has nailed it, basically. Hashtag free Tammy. It's fairly good. It's fairly good. Have you seen Bobby yet? How's Bobby's shoulder doing? Ladies and gentlemen, the Jets are 4-10. We're awesome. Are we going to agree on everything? No, probably not. As you saw tonight. Bonesy's going to cry. I'm going to cry. It's the first time me and Bonesy ever argued. I hate it. I am loud. Hank G learned that when Nick and Tigo are talking, Alan is quiet. I learned that when Tigo and Alan are on, I can't get a word in. I love you too, Bonesy. I love all you guys. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for super chats tonight, for gifted memberships. We will be back Tuesday night with Bobby Midnight's second weekly weigh-in. Should be joined by Addison, maybe a cast of others. Ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined in the chat by Charles Barkley. What does a broken clock and Jeff Ulbrich, Aaron Rodgers have in common? Charles, please give us the answer. Oh, Genergy. It's 11:17. Not yet. Charles, give us the answer, Charles. They're terrible. Neither can tell time. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you. Very underrated player for your size. Great power forward. Thanks for showing up in the chat. Thank you for taking the time to type out a joke. And congratulations on your weight loss. You look great. At Jake Asman, Robert C. Batteries. Yeah, there was a suspense building up there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday night, 10 p.m., right here. Go support everyone you saw tonight. Tigo on Talking Jets. Gator is Burt Reynolds' channel. Jake Asman show. See? Look at that. Before I even saw that pop up. Thank you to Nick for your service and the chat for being legendary. Absolutely. Listen, we're family. Family doesn't always agree, but we go through things together. We all have PTJD. We all have post-traumatic Jets disorder where you're seeing it live on air on shows. We did 2 hours and 17 straight minutes of Jets talk. We haven't done that in a long time. So I promise you we will make up for that on Tuesday. We'll balance it out. Bobby Midnight will be here. We will have his second weight loss update. We will have a cast of call-ins. We'll see you then. How's Bobby doing? Enjoying that Vermont Kush. We will end with the great Robert C. singing. Robert, thank you. God bless America. And God bless Tammy for always holding. Ready? Everybody mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Light of dawn's early light. What so proud that we hail? We're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and of the free and the home